What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy Show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
What up, Greg?
I'm glad you're trying out a Heather Gray shirt.
I forgot I was going to be on camera today. This is like my grungy shirt.
No, it isn't. This PBS one. I love this PBS one.
It's got like a lot. I work out in it a lot. It's
Yeah, you
not
do.
really,
Yeah, you do.
Kind of work out in every shirt. My wardrobe has gone downhill lately, so I'm trying to bring it back uphill. It's not unsuccessful.
I was gonna say, well, where's the shirt you wore? Kind of Funny Live 2 was awesome.
That's my first attempt to bring it back. Yeah,
that needs to be your new aesthetic. Because goddamn, did you look
the short sleeve collar shirt?
Thank you. Yeah, I really like it. The thing is, when you have a wife, you shop as a unit most of the time, and so she just came around to that style because I was like, I want a short sleeve shirt. She's like, it's too hipster. I'm like, I'm just gonna try this on and see what it looks like. And there's a specific brand that I buy that fits me very well, and that happens to be that brand.
What's the brand?
It's
Get a free
AG.
shirt. AG?
Yeah. They usually make jeans, but they also have shirts. And so when she goes to buy jeans, I'll walk over there and try those shirts on, and they're fairly okay priced. And I tried it on. I was like, this fits really, really well. She's like, you should buy that. I'm like, see, I should buy it. And then I think it was like $80. It was not bad. And then she made fun of me. She actually made fun of me today for having way too many. She's like, I think you could use one or two more gray shirts. And if you want, you could probably use a couple more black shirts with graphics on them if you wanted to. And I was like, oh, someone's talking shit. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
You know what happens when they talk shit. Over here, the pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty.
It's good to be here with you today.
It's good to be here with you today as well. It smells wonderful in this house. Your mother cooking an Italian feast out there.
She is.
I hope there are endless breadsticks. Will she
if
put
you
on
say that
white,
again, you're not eating any
will
of
she
the
put on a
Italian
white
food.
shirt and a tie to serve me?
I hate you. You're not eating any of it.
Oh no, please. I'm so hungry. Over there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
Let him host.
Was that an Olive Garden?
It was an Olive
Garden reference?
An Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
They have the
House Olive Garden.
Thank you for that. Yeah, Colin, seriously, on a serious note, what do we have to do to get your mom to come cook us dinner every night?
I'll fly her out here from Real America, and she'll.
It was a Patreon tier.
Yeah,
Okay.
she'll.
Yeah, we're supporting her on Patreon.
Because those meatballs are looking and smelling A-okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we'll eat when the sauce is ready. I mean, it's a little late. I don't know that the sauce is gonna be ready anytime soon, but
Part of the way I understand Italian to go, it's like when you're here, you're family. So I mean, like everybody's sitting around talking and stuff. Like, oh, this is from Real America. This is real Italian stuff.
If the meatballs aren't ready, they'll bring the breadsticks out. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It'll be great.
Do we get endless soup and salad, too?
Yeah, that's how it works. They come by with the cheese, see how much you want.
Your culture is a joke to us. A punchline.
fair enough. Have a good show.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can support us, get the show early, submit your own topics, and get a bunch of goodies that Tim loves.
I like them a lot.
You get exclusives
Tim
too.
loves goodies.
I love them goodies.
Colin and I just did
goodies,
exclusives with our
my
mothers.
goodies.
They'll be up soon. So that's just $1. You give $1, you get those exclusive episodes each and every month. But if you have no dollars to give, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the entire show topic by topic, day by day, until the big thing goes live on the Big Deal Friday, as I call it.
Big Deal Friday. Big Deal Fridays. I like that. That's
Big Deal
good.
Friday. Kevin, from now, make a note. Right in there, put email Colin, Big Deal Friday. And all the tweets on Friday, Colin, need to reference Big Tweet Friday.
No,
Big Deal Friday.
I'm never gonna. I refuse to use that term, and I'm gonna change the Hootsuite password too, so you can't go in there and do it yourself.
I kind of like it.
I think we're all the same level of tired deliriousness.
Oh yeah,
Kind of Funny
I'm out
Live
of it.
2
Absolutely.
was last weekend. Thank you all for coming out from around the globe to hang out with us
And
here.
if you weren't there, thank you for being on Twitter, using the hashtag KFL2, following along. Thank you for being on Facebook, on the forums,
Yeah.
on the Patreon.
Right?
We were worldwide. We were trending. Thanks to all y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So thank you.
Thank
very
you for all
much
your
that.
support. We've said 1,200 people were there. Mm-hmm. That's the official count.
Yeah,
They're a little
that's
bit
what I'm
more.
saying.
There
There was
more.
more than that, but I'm going to say 1,200. It's a nice number.
We're rounding down to be nice.
Yeah.
Tim, is this your topic?
Oh, of course this is my topic.
Okay.
Yes.
Then let me be the last to congratulate you on the success of Kind of Funny Live 2.
Thank you.
You
Thank
killed
you
yourself
very
for
much.
it.
Yes.
Nick, you killed yourself for it.
It was not easy.
Kevin, you killed yourself with the show for it.
Kevin's feet hurt so badly after it that he couldn't walk.
I know he called.
Tim's little brother had to carry him out like Yoda on the back of Luke.
A Dagobah.
Yeah, and
a little
Dagobah.
blue bag, a little blue sack.
Colin,
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you and me on doing as little as possible.
You nailed it though. It was so good.
Although I said on Colin and Greg Live that I actually was responsible for the whole show and the entire production.
You crushed it.
Yeah.
It is. It's true. It was a great show.
The power of persuasion, as we've been calling
What was it like from your guys' perspective to walk in and sort of see the venue and the production for the first
It
time?
was awesome. I mean, I think we had been abreast of the situation. You kept us updated. We knew what was happening and how the stage was going to look or whatever. But when you're like, it's going to be a 100-foot video wall, and this is like the catwalk or whatever, you're like, oh, okay, I can picture that. But to get there, and when they finally had the video wall working and showing all the videos and seeing like what Jack Trenton looked like in glorious 4K when he's 100 feet tall, that was amazing. But more was like, the venue itself of walk. I guess when we were going there, I was talking to another video game journal, I forget, who was going, oh, I'll see you there tomorrow. I'm like, isn't that where they did the Final Fantasy 13 reveal? And I was like, oh, you might be right. I remember going to the Final Fantasy, but I don't reveal, but I don't remember where it was. So to walk in and not really remember the space, but to see how awesome the friends and family balcony looked, and then to see like, it was the little things for me, the kind of funny face on the wall projected through a spotlight and multiple times, and the blue lights outside of the Regency, the blue lights inside, the line around, like it was surreal to get there and see how the drawing came to life.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun event.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it again. No sooner than 1 year from now.
Oh man, I want to do it now.
You can push it out
Let's
one
do
more
it
year.
forever.
No.
So Tim,
Yes.
how do you feel?
I feel
you did
amazing.
it.
I mean, so that's the things. Like last year, it was the best night of my life. This year, new best night of my life, and it's by a long shot. Like that, it was just incredible. It went off perfectly. Like I could have not asked for that to go better. Of course, I can go back and criticize little things here and there, like, oh, I wish I did this or whatever. But it's like, man, nah. Overall, it's perfect. It's a masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10. You know, and I was very, very happy with it. It was so much fun seeing all you guys, and like what I appreciate is that you all wanted to like it. I think that's the most important thing, is that every single person there wanted to like every single thing that was happening. And that is the key magic that made this happen. If any other group of people was on that stage, this would have been the dumbest thing ever.
Sure.
Because it was us, it was the dumbest thing ever, but people loved it. And I think that's the magic that we all have together, where it's like, it's a positivity that you got to have. Like it's the same shit that when you look at press conferences, like the same, like two different people can watch a press conference and be like, that sucked, or, oh my God, that was fucking amazing. And all it really takes is you going into it wanting to like it or wanting to hate on it. And
kind of like how Greg went into Batman vs Superman wanting to like it, so he did.
But I mean, but there you go,
That's
right?
actually
Like,
probably a good point why you hated it. I wanted to see it fail. You hate comic book movies.
No, I
You
don't.
hate superheroes. You hate anything popular. You're a hipster.
No. Mm-mm.
but I was really happy that that all of you guys like gave us the opportunity to just do things for you and just be like, we think you'll like this, and then you did. You know, and I think that that's a really, really kind of, it's asking a lot actually, but I think that the equation worked out, you know, both sides. It's this plus this equals this, and all of those things were good.
What I want you to do is run me through last week for you, because you weren't here at all. So like that was the thing. We said on the shows you're home editing, but I mean that you were working like how many hours a day generally?
I mean, it wasn't even so much about that. It's easier to say how many hours I slept, which was like, I think like 4 to 5 hours a night was max. Like there was nights that I didn't hit that much, but what I was doing was editing all of the videos that played on the video wall behind everybody, because early on me and Nick were talking about it, and Nick's brother Matt was like, let's get a giant LED video wall, and I'm like, that is fucking incredible. But then the thing with that is that means that there needs to be something on it at all times. So Nick made a whole bunch of awesome stuff for me to play with. Like he made the loop that kept saying Kind of Funny Live and all that stuff.
Our outlines and stuff.
Looked super fucking cool and
really
awesome.
good.
Then I got to use that to make all the other things. But for each video package we did, for the press conference and for all the stupid jokes, the music stuff, like I wanted to make sure that every video was like to the moment there was something on the screen that was interacting with it. Like when Mega Ran performed, I wanted to make sure there was stuff referencing what he would be saying, which was a lot of work.
I was gonna say, how hard was that to edit?
So I had the instrumental track, and then I had to reference his live show videos on YouTube and be like, okay, here he does this with the crowd. So I'd make sure that the words flashed, that the crowd needed to chant. But like, man, it was those little details that really pushed it over the edge, because then everybody knew what ad-libs they were supposed to be doing. Everybody knew to say A, or Dr. Wiley, or let Tim host, or whatever it was. And like, people got super into it. And oh man, it was crazy. And like, it was the most work I ever put into anything. It was the videos on that wall, but it worked, you know, and then all of a sudden it all becomes worth it. And you're just like, fuck yeah. Like people kept asking me, am I nervous? There was not a second that I was nervous that night. I was so excited. Like I've never been more excited in my life. I didn't stop smiling the entire time. People keep tweeting at me pictures throughout the night. They're like, Tim did not stop smiling except for when he was rapping. Then he was Thug Life. I'm like, yeah, that's how I felt.
That's what you have to do. It. That's what Tone Deaf taught you.
That is what Tone Deaf taught me.
Yeah. That's the one thing.
But what I wanted to do was, because I think that we kind of get into a little echo chamber of what we do and then just kind of forget that there was thousands and thousands of people that weren't there.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to run through a recap of the night. One of you guys can start it off so I'm not talking a lot.
A recap of the night, just starting from the fans' perspective?
Just everything. What happened? Kind of Funny Live 2.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was, first of all, an amazing show as well. Congratulations. I think one of the highlights and what started the show off was Mr. Bernie Burns coming in to actually host the thing. And Bernie's a guy that is incredibly sort of impressive to me. Not just because of the fact that he's one of the founders of Rooster Teeth, not because he's, made one of the first, like, amazingly viral shows ever on the internet, but because he could legitimately have a good career as a stand-up comedian if he wanted to. And so having him host the show and having him come out and kind of bash us a little bit, and he gave everyone a lot of shit,
including Rooster
Teeth, which was all in good fun. And I think specifically because he knew a lot of folks from my GM were going to be there, he roasted them a little bit, which was cool. Of course, he passed all that through us beforehand, so any of his insults were pre-approved by us, with the understanding that they were going to be good-hearted and fun and not supposed to be actually insulting. And then he introduced us, and we each had our own video.
Well, even before this. So before this, there was.
You want to talk about the actual setup?
Yeah, well, not even so much that, just like the show. So it starts off with Grimecraft.
Oh yeah,
doing
like
the pre-show,
hour and a half long DJ by Grime, who has the most amazing hair on the planet.
Sure, amazing hair, but I enjoyed that after he came off, he went right to hard drinking. And then the rest of the night, he kept coming up to me, and since he, a drunk man's words or a sober man's thoughts, he just kept being like, "This is the best video game show I've ever been to. That was the best performance I've ever had." And then he woke up and tweeted that same stuff. Like the audience was on another level for him, and that continued obviously throughout the night. But goddamn, were you guys awesome for him?
Yeah, the same thing. Mike Drucker made an appearance as well. Our good friend Mike Drucker came all the way from New York to be with us. And I was like, so how intimidating was his audience to perform in front of? Because for a stand-up, the difference between a 50-person club versus 1,000-person like kind of concert venue like this can be daunting. Like it can be different. It's different acoustics, different environment, like different laughs. Like the laughs come in waves depending on who's heard what at what point. And I was like, so how was that? He was like, honestly, I was a little nervous for it, and then I stepped out and realized it was your guys' audience, and you guys, they want to laugh. Like they're here to have fun. They're not standard people at a comedy club who half came to have fun, half just are drinking, and then there's one or two nut bars in there that just came to be assholes. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all your guys were like ready for the joke, ready to have fun, ready to laugh, and they laughed. And of course to Drucker's, just some kind words for Drucker. He was awesome. He's hilarious. And he asked even that we could break it out and kind of put it up. So we might end up putting that up. We should check with him just to double check, but I'm pretty sure he's okay with it. Because a lot of guys, he works on his stand-up act all year. So I don't know if he wants to spoil his jokes.
That's definitely going on.
Okay, cool. He was hilarious. But even before that, it was a long week. So the Thursday, Friday before Kind of Funny Live, we did rehearsals. Mm-hmm. And we'll probably, hopefully, part of me is like, do I ever want those rehearsals to see a light of day? And then the other part of me knows that Kevin's just going to put them up without me knowing anyway.
So Thursdays, we rehearsed.
Thursdays, we rehearsed through aerobics. And some of the intros. Went through the run of show with you guys. That was the first time you guys had gotten exposure to that. Went through all the videos, made sure, any questions you guys had was ironed out so that we didn't have to, because if you guys had questions, then our technical crew's really going to have questions. So it was good to start with you guys first. Then we did the aerobics, which was actually the thing I was most scared about until Tim told me I had to memorize rap lines. And then I became actually scared.
Oh, yeah.
Because for some dumb reason, I could not remember the rap lines. Like I just couldn't remember the lyrics whatsoever. Even up to the night, I even screwed one of them up at the show.
Didn't matter though.
Didn't matter.
At all.
I kept going with it. But that was I was actually not nervous. Looking at the run through, looking at where Tim was with the videos and knowing my crew that we hired, I was like, I'm not nervous at all about this. I know they're going to load in. I know we're going to have plenty of time to rehearse, at least do a full run through of the show to tech it out. And then whatever happens after that happens after that. It'll be a normal shit show, right? It'll be a normal garbage truck on fire. And it was. Totally. It was the most professional, polished garbage truck I've ever seen in my life. And it was still very much on fire. And so Friday we had as a kind of holdover day, which was good for rehearsals because Tone came in and we were able to rehearse his stuff, our stuff. And I felt a little bit better after that. But even before that was flashback like 3 nights. My wife and I people are like, what the fuck is that? I'm bouncing around our apartment and my wife's like choreographing this aerobics number with us, and she's like, "Stop, go back to 1. You need to do this, longer arms, like extend more, smiles all the time." And so a huge thanks to my wife for putting up with that, because it cannot be sexy to see your husband dancing around in tiny little shorts on stage in an aerobics outfit, but she loves me anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, taught you guys those moves. You guys surprisingly picked them up very, very quickly. For all of our level of coordination, with the exception of Greg, who I was behind when you did the aerobics number and did not realize that you flashed the audience your nipples.
Yeah.
Didn't catch that until I saw
what
that.
they wanted. I know what they wanted. I know
So-
they pay a lot of money for them seats.
They wanted to
Thank
see
you,
those-
Kevin.
those-
I know what they want.
Those really light pepperonis that you got down there. It's like a pepperoni that's been out in the sun too long. It turns like a little shade. You know what I'm talking about? A little shade of tan. So then, of course, Friday night we were able, which this week couldn't have gone off better for me, because a lot of my family was in town, and I was actually able to see them and not be asshole Nick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was actually like, hey, this is good. I feel good about this. I'm excited for you guys to see the show. Then at 10 o'clock, get to the venue. Loden's already been going for 2 hours, but my brother was kind enough to be like, you don't need to be there. I'll take care of supervising where things are going to go. Don't worry about it. Just show up when you can, so we can start answering some other questions about layout of merch and where step and repeats for signings and stuff are going to go. And then you guys got there around noon, and then we started rehearsing right around 2:30 or 3, which was close to when I thought that's what I had scheduled for. And we went through the show, and it started, we started with just the intro, and Bernie showed up all day for rehearsals. It was like, this is going to be fucking awesome. Like, because Bernie really didn't know what to expect. This is not the kind of show that they do. Like, they have fun, but most of their kind of bigger productions are, they make movies and internet shows and RTX.
More of a convention.
RTX, yeah, which is a whole different ball of wax. So this, I think, was interesting to show them, because a lot of people were like, I don't know what to expect. And what they got really was a variety show. What they got was closer to a Broadway act than it was. Like, it was closer to Rock of Ages than it is a typical video game exhibition show, or like a Penny Arcade, or like a PAX or a Comic-Con, or
Let's Play Live.
A Let's Play Live even, right? What we wanted to do originally and always want to do is entertain first and foremost. And I think last year we did, one of the highlights of last year for me was the beginning of it, when we came with the intros and then went into the first skit that everyone was laughing about. And so the goal was to push that, pretty much have that going throughout the entire night, which I think we did a really good job of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the idea for me was it's about payoff of all the inside jokes we've created over the last year. And you can look through all the different sections, and it's just like, it all makes sense for the people that are there.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for anybody else, but that doesn't matter, because the fact that it makes sense to everyone else makes it make sense, where it's like, it validates it. It's just like, oh, well, someone thinks this is funny, so it obviously is funny. Like, the security guards there had no idea what the fuck was going on. They were so confused. They were like blown away that everyone was so engaged. And even when we were doing the meet and greets and stuff, they're like, why do people like these guys?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
We don't know either.
But yeah, it was fun.
And to the audience's credit, you guys got a lot of nice compliments from the security guards, who were like, you have some of the most, like, the nicest, most courteous fans of any act we've ever seen come through these doors. He was like, people were like self-policing.
Yeah.
Like, someone would try to go, and another one of the best friends were like, no, you can't go up there. You don't have, that's for family only.
Right.
And the security guards are like, what the fuck is happening right now?
That was the biggest thing for the best friends, in terms of seals of approval for me, was my mom. My mom came, right? And like, when we were backstage, because for the first night we didn't want to come out early, we wanted to be locked off or whatever, to be in the right headspace, get the crowd into the right fervor or whatever. So mom, went down and walked the merch line, introduced herself to everybody, went outside, took photos with fans who were waiting in line, and then continued to do that throughout the weekend. But every time we'd go to dinner or whatever, or breakfast before or after something, she'd be like, and these boys kept coming up to me and telling me you changed their lives and you got them through this and da 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 da. I'm like, yeah. That tends to be the way. She's like, this is amazing. You have made an amazing community. They are amazing kids. They are amazing people. I was like, I know, Mom. I know. They're really cool.
They really are. They really are. It's crazy to think. We do the rehearsals, right? Everything goes fairly well. We tech a couple other things out. Everyone showed up on time. We were able to tech all the acts out, do tone stuff, which is a little more intricate a couple more times. And then the show starts, and I start getting nervous, right? So 7 o'clock, the doors open for VIP, and they get to come in a half hour early, and the merch is all set up, looking fly. And I'm like, I can't wait for people to attack this. And I'm getting nervous at this point, because I'm like, okay, this is a lot of moving parts, and we've worked really hard to make sure the show comes off. And again, we strike that balance of, I want everything to look and feel seamless, even though it's going to be chaos, right? Like what we do, I always wanted to, like I want to keep some level of professionalism to what we do, but also not lose that level of who we are, which is really kind of like tongue in cheek. And I was even talking to Matt, and he was like, "I had a bunch of questions for you." I was like, "Well, why didn't we give you a mic? We should have given you the Kevin mic, and you could have interrupted the show whenever the hell you wanted." And we're like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "You can do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we do. It's what we do."
Yeah.
You know, that would have been funny. That would have just been an added dimension, even though kids would have been screwing with you the entire time. But the show starts rather. Bernie comes out, does his thing. I'm listening to him like he's killing. I'm getting nervous because this is a tough act to follow. It's got to be good. Then the intros start. And I'm like, oh man, this has been a long time to make. We're already tired because we've already worked the entire week leading up to this. And then I've already been there since like 9:30 and we've rehearsed and my energy level is getting low. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be tough. It's going to be hard to get through. And then my intro starts. And I come out to Queen, and I look, and the first person that I saw was Ski Bike Mike. And I was Snowbike Mike. And I was like, Snowbike Mike, and that's Daryl. And I'm like, oh wait, that's Kaylee. Oh, and I'm like, oh shit, I know all these people.
Right.
And from that point on, I was like, I'm not nervous anymore.
Yeah, we good.
It was like,
we good.
Because I looked out, I'm like, wait a minute, these are all people that I've met and hung out with on multiple occasions. And I actually started thinking, I'm like, and then I realized all the people in the balcony were just people that my friends and family that I've known since either my entire life or since I got into the industry. And I'm like, oh wait, we're just gonna go show off and like be goofballs for our friends right now.
Yeah.
That's all this show is. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Colin, was that the same for you? Because backstage you were nervous.
Yeah,
uncharacteristically.
I was. I was telling Greg. Greg and I were together.
We usually are.
Before we. No, I don't like it when you touch my. I kind of actually do like it when you touch my ribs. We were together and just talking like right when everything was kind of like maybe 4 or 5, 6 minutes before the show began. And I was like, the way I feel right now reminds me of when I used to play hockey. Because I used to get really nervous before like big games. And I don't really get nervous anymore for anything. Like when we do our PAX panels or we do our panel at PSX even or whatever, I'm like, I don't care. Like this is easy. We've been doing this for years. Like I literally don't even think about it at all. I just go on stage and then we talk and when we're done. Mm-hmm. And even for Kind of Funny Live, it was very manageable. There wasn't much to remember, like, with the exception. I remember last year vaguely that the only thing I was really worried about was like the debate in the beginning, but we got through that. We were able to rehearse that multiple times with Troy, and so I was fine. But I never really, because my mom was here and because I'm just dealing with a bunch of shit like all the time, that I just never really stopped to think that we actually have to do the show. You know, because I hadn't really been in it, so it was like, all right, we're rehearsing, this is fine, the dance number's easy, blah 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 blah. But then like the closer it got, when people were funneling in, they're like chanting names. It sounds like the fucking Roman Colosseum out there. I was like, yeah, we actually have to do this, and I need to make sure it's fine. Mm-hmm. And so, but my nerves dissipated pretty quickly. Like what I realized was, especially after we did the aerobics routine, which was very straightforward and just takes a little bit of rhythm and it's silly kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is fine. It's not a big deal. But I was super heartened by the response. I mean, when I walked out, I couldn't even see the crowd. The lights were so bright, and I just like kind of just walked out slowly and kind of just like pretended like I was surprised that anyone was there, basically. And walked down the catwalk, and everyone was like kind of grabbing at me and stuff. And I was like, it's kind of a cool moment. You got to kind of take this kind of thing in, and people chanting my name and stuff like that. It was just kind of neat, like because I really don't like
understatement of the year.
Because I really don't like the limelight. I really don't want it. And I mean, that's an honest thing. Like, I think it's nice, like I'm super honored and humbled by it, but like, I'm fine if like people just enjoy the content. They don't have to, they're not getting stopped on the streets or whatever. That's totally fine. I'd be fine with that for the rest of my life. I just want people to enjoy what we do. I don't want it to be like really about the reception of me. I want it to be a reception about our product and about all of us. So like that kind of thing is very rare for me, where I'm like, I should just enjoy this and like kind of soak it in a little bit. And so I did. And I think that the dance number after all of our introductions was fun. And the lip sync battle was fun, and performing with Ran was fun. You
killed that rap verse.
Yeah,
I can't. I still haven't found it. So many people have put up clips and Instagrams and Periscopes. I keep looking through them, I want to see it in context of when you bust out and do, because I know even you put up an Instagram about it or whatever, or a Facebook video. But I want to see it, I was happy in full.
Yeah, it was just a cool moment because I'm such a huge Mega Ran fan. I've been for a long time, and I really love the song Wily because it tells the story of Mega Man. And
you always say better than most of the game.
Yeah, most of the game. I mean, it puts the story together in a more coherent way about how Wily and Light made these robots together, and Wily betrays Light, and because he doesn't get any of the credit for the robots, and how my verse is all about how he reprograms the robots and he thinks Rock and Roll, who are Mega Man and Roll, are useless robots, and just leaves them there. And meanwhile, he could have reprogrammed them from the beginning and saved himself all this trouble. Which is, an interesting kind of, that's why Mega Man's story is so interesting to me, because there's way more to it than people think if they just have Capcom doesn't explore it. But yeah, I thought that the verse was cool, and I tried to with that particular thing. I just tried to. Rand was nice enough. I was like, I really like that particular verse. Can I do it? And he's like, you can just do it yourself, like as long as you want. So I'm like, I'll do it up to this line. You can jump back in. And we just rehearsed it once, and it was fine. I just needed to be a little bit louder, and so I was when we were performed, I think. And it was. I tried to just stay. I wanted the crowd to think that I was just going to be a hype man, so I tried to stay in the back and just kind of walk around and stuff. And then after the first chorus, he's like, you want to take the verse, whatever. And I just point like me. Are you talking to me? And then I just walk on the catwalk and rap. And it was fun. I wanted to be like nonchalant about it and surprise people. And so that was
it worked.
So yeah, that was certainly a highlight of of a lot for me. Like that was a highlight well beyond Kind of Funny Live too, because I think a lot of our fans. I'm a huge hip hop fan, and I love rap, and I love rapping, and I think it's fun. I think it's a great genre of music. I think it's very artful. I think it's very poetic, and it was cool to be able to do that in front of a crowd of 1,200 people. Most rappers will never get to do anything in front of a crowd of 1,200 people. So me being just a schmuck that didn't even write the song and just gets to steal his lyrics, a pretty cool moment for me. So
pretty good gig.
So I do think it was such a cool thing where I loved the response, and I was heartened by it, like I said, and I was really happy, especially for Nick and Tim, because I know how much work went into it or whatever. And but I was also really happy for the crowd. And one of the things I tried to reiterate was that I hope that people really took it in amongst themselves as well, that it was more about not so much about what was going on stage as much as about being around each other and kind of feeling that the vibe that we put out as a company. And so it was super cool.
They all flocked to it this time, and I've talked about it a few times. I don't think on camera, but like in the fact that there were the community events and we didn't have to set any of that up. You guys knew to go do it yourselves. You'd look at these events, there's 150 people running around Pier 39 or whatever, like holy shit, way to go do that.
So
and even
fun.
the people who weren't that group, they were the ones that all right, run into each other somewhere else and go off in these smaller groups and go be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like my mom asked me, I think after Sunday at dinner, like, what was your favorite memory or whatever from it, or what was your favorite part of Kind of Funny Live 2? And that was the problem. I think it's a feather in the cap of Tim in terms of like the whole show is a highlight reel. You know what I mean? There was no dip in it because the way you programmed it was that everything was awesome. And for me, it was it was moments. My favorite moments are the moments involving you guys and watching you guys do it, and the rap for Colin, Tim, the crowd surfing working, obviously Kevin proposing, and Nick being. I've told this. Nick and I on the side. Kevin's proposing, Tim's behind him crying, and it's like she said yes, and the balloons drop on our side, and then Nick and I can just see the other balloon drop and people yanking on this thing and them not coming down at all, and you're so happy because it's the end of Kind of Funny Live 2, everything's gone perfectly, and Nick's like, you see that? I'm like, yeah, and you start to go, Tim, and I'm like, don't do it, don't ruin it for him, don't.
I know, see, I love it, and here's my thing, they did drop it, and it was totally fun, and then I got a fucking awesome picture because Sean Finian had time to come up, and now there's balloons everywhere, and I'm like, great. I'm glad we had backup balloon drop.
It worked out great. Everything was fantastic on that. But that, Nick's insane entrance. Like that, for Nick, it's for me, Kind of Funny Live 2 for Nick is encapsulated in that one photo where you're like, coming down and slapping all the hands. Like, damn, that looks
you can't see.
awesome.
I was air guitaring as hard
No,
as humanly possible.
I've watched a bunch of the behind the scenes
pelvis
stuff.
at I think Amy Gills.
Yeah.
So she was right there. It was hilarious.
There's a
I was
reason
like,
she deleted her
Amy
picture.
Gills right there. Boom. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good moment. Like just hearing crowds, having Bernie introduce me and hearing the crowd just scream got me re-energized.
Well, that was the thing being backstage before we started, where it was we're out there and we're in it all day in this giant empty room, and there is that, for me at least, just like, all right, we're expecting 1,000 people. Like, what does that look like in this space? Is it to the back? Is it everywhere? And then like being in the backstage and Grimecraft's playing or whatever, and looking at I was on my phone nonstop on the hashtag, and seeing it like progressively get more and more filled until somebody, I was talking to I don't know who, and then I came back to look at my phone and somebody had put up a video of it from the balcony. It might have been Andrea Renee, and it was just this whole room like jumping in a wave or whatever, and I was like, that's us, us, and I was like, oh shit, the room is filled. That is totally
dude
filled.
I mean, what's crazy about it, so Macklemore was performing at the Bill Graham Theater, which is a 7,000 person venue, literally 2 blocks down, and when I was scrolling through my Instagram feed, it's all my friends posting Kind of Funny Live, and then Macklemore comes up. Could not tell the difference between like they just looked the same, and I'm like, damn, like we out you.
I do want I do want to let you know, Tim, I failed you.
Yes,
I reached out to Macklemore and his people and see if there was any way to get them to come early or do anything, and they couldn't do it.
See, even that would have been too much.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that would have been great because this show, all it is too much.
Yeah,
like it was just too much. We could have cut half of it, and everyone would have had a great time. But no, screw that shit, man. Like we'll figure out next year. That's been like my whole motto with it. Kind of Funny Live 3. We'll figure it out. I'm sure.
Kind of Funny Live
Yeah,
3.
I
I
fear
want
for
The
you.
Rock. I'm getting The Rock.
That's
That
the
is my
goal.
goal now.
That's
Can
the
you,
goal.
if you get The Rock, could you also talk him into bringing Zac Efron? Is
I'll
that possible?
I'll work on it. I'll see.
Can they just wear the Baywatch outfit so I can look at Zac Efron without
Okay,
a shirt?
now you see you're working
And
against
just
us
go-
getting
and
The
just
Rock.
Give just
I,
a little bit of a touch.
I will say two things that I walked away from that I think are important. That has nothing to do with anything we did on stage. I think, which is number one. I always kind of I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to. I think would say even very ignorant when it comes to the production, and so it's really remarkable how much work goes into. And I'm not even talking about you guys necessarily, although obviously you put a lot of work in, but just the actual material and labor work that goes into stagecraft, I guess you would call it. So like the idea of like a lighting guy and there's just scaffolds going up and there's like a lot of like very precise measurements in terms of, you know, where things go and how things are executed and stuff. It's actually super impressive and it makes me feel stupid when I see it, because I'm like, I have no idea how any of this is even done or put together. And so I think that's a quite like, so to Matt's credit and to his team's credit, it's a really quite marvelous kind of thing that he's able to put together. I think that would be way overwhelming for me, even if I knew what I was doing to do. And the second thing is that I just think it's really cool that, you know, it seems like the response to it was largely, if not almost entirely positive, both from the people that were there and the people that weren't there. And I think it's really cool that so many people came from all around these great United States and also from around the world, and that they felt like they had like gotten value out of it.
Yeah.
I know
Tickets were a little expensive. I know San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities in the entire world. I know that it's not an easy place to be, and I know it's not an easy place to exist, and you have to make some sacrifices if you're kind of tight on money and all that kind of stuff, and I totally get that. And you're flying from Ireland, you're flying from England, you're flying from Australia. I mean, it's, you know, you get to come to the US and have a little vacation. I hope you guys, you know, enjoyed it. But I thought it was really cool that people came, that people enjoyed, that we conquered the show, and that, you know, people left satisfied.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not really word of mouth because it's the internet, so I think it's more it's more like just a kind of a viral thing. Like, expectations for Kind of Funny Live 3 are going to be huge, and
This was our Uncharted 2.
I think the show is going to be way bigger and broader, and I just hope that we can, and by we I mean Tim and Nick can, you know, do something that's comparable again. And since I know that they can, I'm really interested to see like the warp escalation. And the one thing I was saying was
It's already started.
well, that's why
We're already talking about it today.
That's how I describe Kind of Funny Live 2, and people were like, well, I was like, it was that the show within like a microcosm of the show really was a warp escalation, the entire thing. From beginning to end, it just got crazier and zanier, and that's what I was explaining to people. I was like, it's just a zanier show, it's just a sillier show, and a grander show. But I was talking to Greg before the show where I'm like, well, by the time we get to 4, 5, and 6, people are gonna be like, well, I liked 4 better than 6 and 5.
Well, I mean,
I love that though. Hell yeah.
But then I was like, I'm gonna be like the grumpy, like Naughty Dog kind of guy. It's been like, well, if 5 happened before 4, you'd say the same thing about 4. So,
and that's totally that's the best way I think to describe it. And what I think
awesome.
we looked past with Kind of Funny Live originally. It's Kind of Funny Live originally. I know you guys did a little bit, but not like we did this time, where it was very much like, we're throwing this thing for the best friends. Come out, best friends. And we didn't go out of our way to reach out to friends in the industry, you know, other hosts, other personalities we worked with, And so like, it was our Uncharted 1 of like, oh, people who get this get it and like it. And this was the one where it was like, we were smart about it. And like, oh, hey, everyone who's ever been on the GameOverGreggy show, you should come in for this if you want to come in for this.
Again,
IGN folks, come over and do this.
But even being part of the show, I thought it was cool that, like, you know, all the guests that we had, that there's history now. Like we've existed long enough that the Kind of Funny extended fam is a real thing.
Yeah.
So having Megaran, having Tone Deaf, these are all people that Drucker, you know, Grimecraft, like every single moment there's history, and it's like, you guys know these people from one way or another.
Well, it's funny because everybody, like, you know, Andrea or Dan Reichert or all these different people we had on stage or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, they're our friends. This is how it works. I kind of forgot that not everyone is friends with Cisco. Because like, when you were like, we're going to get Cisco for the lip sync battle and then he'll do the Pokemon sing along, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I haven't seen Cisco in a long time. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And totally, I chalked it up to the same way of like, oh, Dan Reichert's going to be on the, you know, thing. My mom wants to yell at him. It was just like, oh, Cisco will be there. Cool. And then when I ended the show and went upstairs, and like literally every tweet was like, what the fuck? Cisco is singing the Pokemon thing with hashtag Kind of Funny Live. Like, oh, that's a big deal. Right. That's abnormal for other people.
I'll say this. I said it while it was happening, and I've told multiple people, I'm like, we put on a great show. There was no, I mean, like, we put our heart and soul into it, and it was fucking awesome, and we performed our little asses off out there. But there's us, and then there's Cisco.
Yeah.
And when Cisco hit the stage, I was like, oh, right. That's a professional performer. Like, this guy does this. He's a huge performer. He's done this for a living for like a really long time.
Played the crowd like a fiddle.
Oh my
was
God.
great with his
Came
dance
out
moves.
like just
flipping
and shit. And I'm like, Like if anyone else had done that, I'd be like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't get hurt. But if it's Cisco, man, he's fine. He does this for a living. And then backstage when he was gracefully just sort of trying to exit because he was probably tired at that point, having just done a show in Vegas.
I was going to say, what?
Well, that's the other thing. So yeah, Cisco, I said this during the show, but he was actually in Vegas doing a Cisco show.
Yeah.
Hours before Kind of Funny Live. He had to leave that shit as early as possible, get on a flight just to make Kind of Funny Live, and he totally made it work.
Yeah, which is awesome. And so, but as he was exiting, I mean, the crowd that was forming around him was getting unruly, and it was all of our friends. I looked over, I was like, all of our friends and family are freaking out over Cisco right now. Anyone who could get backstage is freaking out, and I started freaking out, and I'm like, wait, I've met him before. He's a really nice guy. He knows me by name, and I was like, I got to get my wife and my sister-in-law and see if they want to meet Cisco. So I like ran over.
Yeah.
But in the time it took me to wade through the crowd of people that were who were all my friends who were like, good job. I was like, I want to talk to you right now, but Cisco's back there, and I want to see my wife. By the time we got back there, he was already making a graceful exit out the back, and I was like,
they had to bounce because they were going to Alabama for another show.
Yeah,
the next morning.
Crazy.
Thank you, Cisco.
Hard work.
Utterly insane. But yeah, I mean, I just the quick recap for everybody for that wasn't there for the show started off with this loading bar where there was a video of just like a battery kind of loading up. And what blew my mind was I was in the back dressing room. We had a documentary crew. There will be a documentary about Kind of Funny Live. When that comes, what that looks like, I don't know. But shout out to them, Jay and I don't remember the
his
other guy's
friend.
name. Yeah,
Jay and friend.
It started with an A. It did start with an A. Andre.
Andre.
Yeah, Andre. Yeah,
and
it
Andre
confused me.
Agassi. Andre
Anyways.
Agassi actually stopped playing tennis and came up to shoot our documentary.
And real quick, because so many people are watching this wondering, are we putting up Kind of Funny Live 2 at some point?
I want to get to that.
Okay.
So just to answer that stuff, documentary is happening. When, I don't know. Kind of Funny Live 2 is happening.
Kind of Funny Live 2 documentary is happening. Will there be exclusive merch?
The Kind of Funny Live 2 VOD, it's going to happen. This one is... Last year was so hard to edit. This year's going to be 10 times harder.
Right.
We had like 6 real cameras shooting this thing. So many angles. So it's going to be crazy. I want to make sure we do it justice. There's an added layer of, there was a lot of copyrighted music and stuff. So we got to make sure that I'm like thinking about YouTube not taking it down and all that stuff. We'll figure out a way. It will be up. I'm going to give myself a month timeline on this. So just think about it that way. There's a whole bunch of fan videos. If you have stuff, feel free to upload. Like, spread the word. It's all cool.
Pixel Brave
Shout
has
out
a
to
whole
Pixel
bunch
Brave.
of awesome, really high quality. It's mainly from of the best friends and the fan perspective, but his Kind of Funny Live Day 1 thing is beautiful and shows a lot of it.
Super good. But the documentary is also angled about the community. Like, they interviewed a ton of you guys, and it's about the experience of being there for the weekend and you know, just kind of meeting a lot of these friends for the first time that you've been friends with for years. So it's pretty cool. The show's going to be utterly insane when it goes up, when it does. Loading bar. We're shooting the documentary, and I was the last person to be like interviewed, and it was literally 30 seconds before the show started, and I hear people like going crazy and chanting and saying numbers, and I was like, oh shit, are they playing the wrong video? Because I thought they were playing the countdown video. And Kevin comes in, he's like, no, that's the loading bar video. They're screaming at the percentage it's going up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit.
65,
Yeah.
66, 67,
68.
No.
69.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that was great. And then once that ended, people were going crazy, and the intro video started. The intro video I worked on until literally 4:30 the night before the show, and I'm so happy I did, because I'm so proud of that thing. It just was so much work. We had so many friends that gave us videos to put into it, and I made sure that I reached out to all you guys to send me pictures of where you're from, and it's like we did this thing where it's like Kind of Funny's worldwide, and it like showed it. Hearing the people go crazy for that, I was just like, yes. Like, the theme for me was it worked. Like, every single section that when it happened, I had this like moment where I'm like, it worked. That's great. It fucking worked exactly how I wanted it to. And but when the documentary was happening, even like during the loading bar, hearing people, and when the intro video started, I like started crying, and it's all on camera, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is just so awesome. And then after the intro video played, Bernie came out and killed it, and then one by one brought us out and did our introductions. Colin went first and was so Colin about it. It just did it. It was such a perfect, just like, yeah. Then Nick comes out to Queen's Princes of the Universe, and people lost their shit, because that's when the video all really kicked in, and like we got that like shapes and geometric stuff and lights going on and stuff.
That was fun.
People lost their shit. Greg comes out to the Undertaker theme, dressed as the Undertaker, and
that was a really good edit on that video.
Going on,
Your video, I watched somebody's perspective on it today, finally, from out front. because I'd seen tons of photos, but when I didn't realize that when I came out, and then when I turned, there was like the lightning bolt behind me.
Yep.
And it was like perfect.
Yep.
Fuck,
No.
that's
So
great.
that's the thing is like there was the video wall behind everybody. So when you walk out on the catwalk, it looks like it's behind him. So when I edited the videos, I made sure that like it looked cool. Like when Colin came out, there was like the big Long Island thing behind him. Like it's just so awesome to see the footage of it now. And then once it got to the Undertaker music kicked in, it kicked into a remix of the Wonder Woman theme song. Greg rips his clothes off, brings out the sign that says,
Batman v Superman was a good movie.
yeah, and people went crazy.
And it's funny because
man.
in rehearsals, my prediction was that they were going to boo, and I was going to get to flick them all off. But everybody cheered. I was like,
Well, it's just it was so you. Like that's the thing is they were cheering for you. It's not so much what they
That was the
think.
thing in
It's
the
like,
video today of like everybody likes the Undertaker and it's there. And when I got there and like the music changed, I did like to look around and turn off the
Yeah.
hype. People went nuts. Yeah.
Nuts, man. So awesome. And then Bernie, everyone expected you to go last because that makes sense. You're Greg, you know. But when we were talking about you guys were like, Tim, like you can totally go last. Your
You're
intro
the best
is insane.
entrance.
But the thing about my entrance is I have dreamed of this entrance. Not only you could say for my entire life, but literally since 2008, me and Alfredo talked when I first heard that song. It's a remix of the Final Countdown. I was like, one day I'm gonna crowd surf to this, and it's gonna be awesome. And then I fucking did it, and it was awesome. But my favorite part was before Bernie even like said my name, people started chanting "Let Tim host." I'm like, this isn't. I was with Kevin like in the back because everyone else came from the front. And when my video started, I was like, oh my God, this is about to be legit. And we bust out and people just start going nuts. We run into the crowd. And like there was even when it was happening, there was a moment I saw Kevin who was like, uh-oh. Because he gets down and I get on his shoulders and like I go to get up, but I saw there wasn't enough people. So I go down and I saw the panic in Kevin where he's like, uh-oh, he missed the mount. We're fucked. And I was like, no. And I told the people to push forward, get up. And then once I was on, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
this
they
is
took to
where
it.
I belong.
and from backstage, it looked like they were going to do what I predicted and powerbomb you onto the fucking platform. But they got you
Nope.
right to the
They got me,
platform and then
spun me,
slowly spun
got
you
me.
around.
There was one brief second where I was like, of fear, where as they were spinning you, one of the hands like
Was shorter
came
than
down
the
for
others,
a second,
yeah.
and you went. It was smile, fuck, smile.
I don't do it, man.
I bet the camera picked it up. There was one quick second because it was like they had to twist you around.
Yeah.
Because you were like dick first towards the
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
or like
No, I was
can't remember
head first
you were
towards the stage.
and then they realized if like someone like it was just like an organizational problem, but they were like, wait a minute, if we put him down like this, we're gonna break his neck.
Yeah.
So we gotta turn him around, and they turned you around. You're like good, and then there was a dip for a second. And then you stuck the landing.
Oh man, it was so awesome. And then I
perfect.
came out and
Worked out.
shot money guns into the crowd. So I shot custom "Let Tim Host" dollars with my face on it that Andy Cortez made, and so that was
Oh,
awesome.
you mean Rooster Teeth? Sandy?
Rooster Teeth? Andy from Rooster Teeth. Yeah, so that was
Who was
great.
like it's just
A
to his credit,
superstar.
was a rock star.
So many people taking pictures with him, and I was like, I'm so proud of that.
There was
kid.
I saw one video from the crowd where before we came out, everybody's like excited and cheering and stuff. And then somebody notices it's him up in the balcony and they spun the camera up and everybody's like, Andy. And like, I think it's Jeff and Gus are next to him like, what the fuck?
That's so awesome. So yeah, and then we're all on the stage, and Greg was like, you know, hey, we're going to start the show with the press conference, but, you know, this doesn't feel right. So we went back and we reenacted all of the Colin and Greg Live intros, including...
How did those go over, by the way? 'Cause I
Awesome.
couldn't. Did they?
Yeah, everybody loved him.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, good.
So we
Was
I
that
was like
Colin
running
Gregg today?
back
I
to
really
like
loved
put my
him too.
shoes on.
we had Colin doing the 20th Century Fox recorder fail thing, and then we had Greg doing the pizza lawyer. We had Nick doing the Geraldo.
Geraldo,
Kevin was the giant fish. What the
yeah.
fuck is
I
that,
was
Jay?
about to yell.
This is the funniest fucking thing we've ever done, from my perspective. Sorry, Kevin. You're such
You
a
looked
good
great
sport.
though. You looked great in the water.
You did. You looked jacked in the water.
That's one
He
way
looks
to put it. And then it ended with the aerobics thing where Dave Fenoy redid all of the voiceover for it, and
Thank you, Dave.
Nick added green screen of us wearing the outfits, and what people wanted, the one thing people asked for Kind of Funny Life was for us to come out in the aerobics.
Trevor Starkey said it was his like pie in the sky prediction that we would do.
I was like, we got to do it. And that's the other thing, because I
we had
looked
planned it
at
before that,
every
but-
single forum post about what people wanted, and I tried to give them as much of that as possible, plus way more.
yeah.
But with that, it was so awesome because after it finishes, we all run out, get in line, and do Nick and his wife's choreographed dance in the little outfits, and people went crazy, man. They loved that shit.
That was fun. That was the highlight of the show for me because it was the first time that like I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like all the intros were phenomenal up to that point, but like the one thing I was just like, okay, this is. I hope this has the impact that I want it to have. Was that moment, and it was I was the first one out, and hearing the crowd's reaction to us, which was like hushed at first, like, I can't believe they're doing this. I'm a little disgusted by it. Let's cheer. It's kind of how that reaction went. And just coming across the stage and then seeing you guys right next to me, just feeling like it's fucking, it was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous. And it's smiling as we're walking to the front of the stage and then lining up. And I'm like, they're eating this shit up.
Yeah.
I love the reaction Tim got when he dabbed.
Yeah, I got
Because like everybody was like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then Tim dabbed, and everyone, wow, like,
yeah, dude, it was so much fun. So then we did the aerobics, which led into the press conference hosted by
Jack
the
Trenton.
one and only Jack Trenton,
Jackie T.
via video message from this
Here,
table.
yeah. Yeah, for the record, people were asking about that because P.S. I Love You opened today with that as well. Like, yeah, I emailed Jack Trenton and I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I've interviewed you a few times and we have this terrible impression and we're doing this conference and we'd like to work with you. And he got back within like 3 minutes. I was like, hey, I totally remember you, Greg. Yeah, that sounds like fun. And he was originally going to come. And then he's like, yeah, and I told him the dates, explained to him. He's like, yeah, I'll come. And then another 3 minutes went by and he's like, I'm bad at calendars. That's my daughter's graduation from high school. So I can't, but I'll gladly drive way out of my way to come to your spare bedroom to sit there and read off a teleprompter. I was like, awesome. Thanks. That's cool. Thank you very much. And he came and he was great and he had fun with it.
Dude, talk about a surreal moment in our lives when Jack Trenton is sitting at the table, the kitchen table, drinking coffee with us and just talking shop.
Yeah.
I'm like,
For me, it was
is
like
fucking weird.
when I walked out on the street to let him in. Like,
Yeah.
and I walked out and he's just walking down the sidewalk up to me. Hey, Greg. I'm like, hey, Jack. This is bizarre.
I mean, you have to understand, the last time I saw Jack Trenton was like,
E3.
saw him in person.
Oh, okay.
Like interviewed him in person was when E3 was in Santa Monica. You know, when all the stuff was like, it was the smaller show.
Sure.
And I went up to one of the Lowe's hotel or whatever it was, and it was him and like the guard. You know how they always had like all the topic Sony execs always had the entourage.
Yeah.
Him, and he was so nice and so cool. But I was like, I'm like almost like a little intimidated and scared. And then seeing him just chilling with us, I'm like, this is night and day. This is so crazy and cool. But we're talking about a nice guy. Like,
He was
what
awesome.
a nice guy.
Awesome. Up for everything. Yeah.
God.
Never asked me to do the impression for him, which I was very pleased about.
Probably sure he probably didn't want to hear it.
So then, yeah, that kicked off the press conference where we announced Colin Was Right, a new show coming later this year, which is essentially a conversation with Colin minus Greg. It's just Colin talking to the camera about video game stuff, and it's going to be written, it's going to be scripted, and highly polished, edited stuff. Colin's going to be doing it all himself, and it's going to be awesome.
I hope so. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was fun to go out there. I don't remember, it was kind of a blur, but going out there, and I remember, I think the first thing I said was like, God, it's fucking hot out here. I also said it's San Francisco, not Long Island, but it'll do. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I just remember being so hot after the aerobics thing, but it was cool. And I wanted to keep it brief. I didn't, because we kind of said it all in the video, and hopefully people like it when it goes up. I mean, we said fall 2016. It could be sooner, but I don't know. We have to get through the conventions and stuff first.
Yeah, so that's great. Then I came out and announced that Kind of Funny Doodles, made by Zach Wenzel, which you guys have probably seen on the internet before, he stopped doing them the last couple months for his channel because he's been doing them for our channel to be debuted very soon as I'm going to say next week. By the time this goes up, there should be an episode going up.
Cool.
Because he already has a whole bunch in the can, and it's going to be a weekly show where he animates our podcast adventures and stuff. So shout out to him. He's fucking awesome.
Is he doing the sickly raccoon?
I'm sure. No, wait, that is on the list.
No,
I
just
think
making
that's in
sure.
his round of
It's probably our best
things
topic ever.
He's editing.
Most
So that's
visually
great.
impressive.
Then Danny from Ismahawk, Danny Shepard came out. We had him on the GameOverGreggy show before. And when he was here, we were talking about dream projects. We talked about doing a Power Ranger short. He's now making that, Power Rangers versus Voltron. And we showed the first trailer for it. I'm the Blue Ranger. Fucking dreams come true. That's awesome. Didn't announce it there, but Greg is going to be one of the Voltron members. So that's pretty damn awesome as well. Danny's so talented. That trailer
Danny's
was
awesome.
Insanely awesome. So
fun.
that was cool that he came out. Then after that, there was the animated thing.
No, it was me.
The PS4
I came out
thing.
and talked about the PlayStation 4 app that we're working on. We're working on a kind of funny PlayStation 4 app. Will you ever see it? TBD. Nobody knows. This is, like I said on the thing, this is one of the few things in our world that's out of our hands. We're going to finish it. James has been working on it with the talented development team. It's awesome. It has all the latest videos. You can log in with your Kind of Funny account so that if you're watching something on kindoffunny.com, then you can pick up on that, or if you're watching something on your app or vice versa, it'll all be linked together and you'll be able to comment through it as well. But there's a big process to getting an app on the PlayStation 4, believe it or not. So if we'll actually make it, we don't know. Don't be mean to people. I'll let you know if you ever have to be mean to people.
Exactly. That's where that's at. Then Nick came out and announced the Kind of Funny animated series news.
Yeah, so we have the intro, which is almost ready, but we did do the intro song, the song for the first, like, you know, I guess the intro for every
theme song.
Are we gonna put that? Have we ever talked about? Are we gonna actually put that in every episode? You think?
Fuck it. It's
yeah,
awesome.
why not? The theme song is awesome. We worked with Corey McMaster, who is one of the best friends who reached out to us. He does music professionally in LA and reached out and said, yo, I do this. If you guys want, I would love to do this with you. It sounds fun. And we ended up making it work. He, to his credit, did an awesome job pulling together an actual live band, writing this in the 80s style. So you guys will see that probably. Dagan's hard at work on it right now. So we'll see it probably by the end of this month, I would imagine. Knocking on wood. And then we also, because that one wasn't quite finished, and we felt, I'll be honest, I felt a little bad. I've been feeling a little bad that the animated show's slacking a little bit. Not really slacking, but we're always biting off more than we can chew for that.
But it's behind schedule.
It's a little behind schedule. So we decided to cut a promo for the show that the kids watch. So it's the kids' favorite show that they watch in the animated series, very meta, called Taco and Bell, about two incredibly competent detectives. We haven't even figured out if they're going to be private detectives or police detectives. It doesn't really matter because those two things are very different. So you can see that promo, which I imagine. Are we breaking these all out, do you think?
We'll figure it out.
We should break that one out and put it up
at some point
because that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'd love to break that out and put it up as content for the animated show because I think people would enjoy the shit out of that.
Yeah. So that trailer was fucking hilarious. Nick edited that, and my God, I've never laughed harder seeing a thing. Because that was fucking so amazing. Then that ended the press conference. And we had Jack Trident give another outro, and that was fun. Then we got into the special guest section, and Bernie brought out Mike Drucker. Mike Drucker did a stand-up set, and that was legit and super awesome. And I liked that it kind of changed the vibe of the thing. We didn't have that last year, so it was a cool new addition. Mm-hmm. Then we had Mega Ran come out, which was so fucking awesome, because first off, he's so talented. Second off, I feel like that really fits the vibe of our audience, and it just makes sense, and we've had him on the show. There's so much there that it's just great. He did Avalanche, which is the Final Fantasy VII battle theme song, and it was super tight. And then brought out Colin to do Wiley, and that's just fucking epic, and even more so just making it part of the community, making it a kind of funny thing. Then Bernie introduced the new hip-hop group in the streets, the Internet Explorers,
right,
a.k.a. me and Nick, and we got to rap, and that was fun. We did Talk Shit Get Shot, then we did That New Shit,
right,
the Aerobic Champion remix that Tone Deaf made. That motherfucker, of course, needs to go above and beyond. Like, we were just going to do his songs, and he's like, no. And I was like, are you just gonna do the Uncharted thing you did last year? He's like, no, we did that last year. I'm doing some new shit this year. I'm gonna take that Champions beat and I'm gonna fucking flip it, and then we're gonna rap over
it was dope.
And I'm like, hell really dope. Yeah, we are.
That was
so we did that. That was awesome. We did the first verse, and then he came out, and that was surreal rapping alongside him. I'm like, wow, this is totally my dream come true. And then we did his song that he did last year, Glutton, where everybody gets down and jumps up and goes crazy. And I can't wait to see the footage.
That was fun.
That was 1,000 people jumping up and going fucking nuts with us in the crowd.
That was yet again another example of why we have the best fucking community on the planet. Because my old ass was trying to get off the stage that was way too high. I'm like, it's so high, and people like carried me down like I was the Persian prince from 300. They were just like down to the ground. I was like, thank you, and then they all kind of like escorted me over to the tip of the dick.
That was like, I told you about it, but I was backstage getting ready for lip sync battle at that point, and I had Bernie out of my peripheral over here. And all night, even from rehearsals, Bernie was like, this is going to be a great show. You guys are really doing something cool here. And then every time I passed him during the show, he's like, this is awesome. Oh my God, oh my God. And that one, he was literally mouth agape watching you do that. And he walked out on stage at one point just to see what the hell was going on, because it was such a spectacle of all these people jumping up and Tone Deaf going crazy, and you guys right out there in your light up coats.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, we had light up.
Oh yeah, and what's funny is I didn't remember wearing the coat until I started seeing the pictures of me and you in the coat, and I was like, we are jackasses.
Yeah,
those coats were ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
but
it was
awesome.
fucking awesome. So then after the musical guest segment, we segued over to the lip sync battle, which was like the kind of end of the show.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, you did skip that we did the Game Over Greggy show and had a whole bunch of our friends come up.
You're right. Yeah, we did.
That was introed by us doing the set change we announced. We let Eric and who's Eric Lauren, yes, thank you. Co-captains for Kind of Funny Extra Life come out and talk, or not to come out. We put up a video they did telling people to go to kindoffunny.com/extra life. Join us this year. Last year we were the 10th overall team, raised more than $52,000 or whatever it was to become the 10th place team out of something insane, thousands of teams or whatever that did it. So thank you all for that. Then we did the Game Over Greggy show, had all these guests come out that I don't want to start going down because I'm afraid we'll forget people. Yeah. But all the Rooster Teeth friends, Brian came out, Andrea, I'm doing it. Don't go down.
Brandon Jones, Alfredo. I remember. We got Sean Finnegan from IGN.com. We got Alfredo from Alfredo Plays. We got Andrea Renee from The Internet. We got Dan Reichert.
Yeah, who then got yelled at by my mom from the balcony.
Which was the fucking
the breakout moment of my mom dropping a WWE promo on Dan Reichert.
So
talk about how she likes to ride.
Yeah, I know that.
I remember being like, oh no.
Yeah.
There was a slightly sort of hotness to your mom now for me. I just want you to know that.
Don't worry, I see it.
She's talking about mastering 1,200 pounds Spanish beasts.
Brandon Jones from Easy Allies,
Yeah.
which was awesome because that wasn't planned. Like I just grabbed him like 10 minutes
nice.
before the show started. I'm like, dude, do you want to do this? And he's like, hell yeah. And then we had Bruce Green, Adam Kovic, Gus Tarola, Jeff Ramsey, all from Funhouse Achievement Hunter,
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth, all that stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I'm happy we did that whole segment.
Transitioned out. It was Carboni and Trish gave us a little fake news thing from their new show on the Comic-Con
What's
network.
News? Is that
What's
what it's
news?
called?
Yeah.
They made an awesome news update, kind of making fun and roasting all of us, and it was really funny. And then so then we got into lip sync, and Colin and Kevin came out and gave us a thrilling rendition of the Top That rap from Teen Witch.
Yes.
Then
Good job, Kev.
Yeah,
You did a great job, Kev. Except for the part where you were not lip syncing when you should. But it doesn't matter. Right? We were all having fun.
So then Nick comes out, obviously doing Pony,
Right.
with a video message beforehand that everybody needs to get their phone out and make a selfie video during it. And the results of that were
That was
stunning.
fun. I haven't seen any of the actual kids
videos.
camera rolls, yeah.
They're great.
Are they
They're
great?
really good.
That's
but
good.
my favorite part of that whole thing was that my middle school and high school
Mm-hmm.
friends, like this whole group of girls that were like the dancers of middle school, reunited
Hey, Kev.
to be the
Shut the
producer
tone
seducer dancers, backup dancers, all wearing producer seducer
That was
shirts
fun.
and just booty dancing the little hearts out right behind you, and it was awesome.
That was a good time. That was a good time. I saw a few pictures from that, and the just sheer sexiness of it is almost pornographic.
Yeah,
You guys should all check it out. As soon as I can't wait for that one to go live because I
yeah,
want to see it.
that was gold.
That was great.
Then I go do my lip sync, which was Thong Song.
Nope, I went. I was in the
God.
show too. Yeah, asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and did the Virgin America one. It was fun. I was worried at rehearsals because at rehearsal I didn't do costume changes.
Yeah.
And there were some just normies and not our kids, like people who were working the venue, and they were very much like, this one's just him running around. Why is this exciting? But then when I got to do the costume changes, run out, be a moron. Then
So you
people
did
really
the
liked it.
Virgin America safety song that
Right.
we've talked about so many damn times in this show.
Came out normal, just great, regular Greg clothes. Had behind me a whole bunch of people dancing, doing the dance in one of the sections where I covered the people. It was Chloe Dykstra, Dave Fenoy, Grimecraft himself. Then Anthony and Trish were part of it too. Then went backstage to do my first costume change while Justine did the next part of the video. Then I came out dressed as a little Asian girl who's the dancer you all know and love. One of the unsung heroes of the Virgin America song we've talked about before. Went back, ran away. Kevin Pereira covered the no smoking kid thing where he killed himself. Then I came back again dressed as one of the robots then, and then I tore off all my clothes. And
But
closed it up.
also there was video of Porty getting the little.
Sure, an Easter egg. I
Mask
talked to
on.
everybody about that later. I was like, "Did you guys notice that?" Like, no, and I don't because
funniest thing
you were dressed in a dress with your nipple hanging out. It turned out the whole time.
Yeah, no, that'll happen. Then I did my lip sync, which was Thong Song, and I did it myself for like 45 seconds, the first verse. And then once the chorus hits, it turned into this ridiculous Grimecraft PlayStation remix of Thong Song, and Cisco and his dancers came flipping out and doing the whole thing. That was surreal. That was awesome. Then after that, we did a Pokemon sing-along where everyone sang the Pokemon song, and there was 1,000 people singing Pokemon, which was epic,
Right.
including Cisco, and all the backup dancers came back out. It was just like a fun moment. And
Very telling of of what demographic and kind of people our audience is. That they knew
You my
some
peeps.
of the words to the rest of the songs that came before it, but everyone was singing the fucking Pokemon song.
yeah,
Like,
no, it's
everyone.
the only way to go.
Except for me and Greg. Who were like, I don't know the words.
Yeah,
to
but
this.
there is that part where we do the opening and then Nick and I just look at each other. We're like, I don't know.
That's all you needed. But then I brought out a huge reveal for myself, which was the giant Pikachu costume
Right.
that we got. I've been on a search for a year to get
Nailed
that
it.
thing. We finally found it. Then the Pikachu was all dancing around. Then I took its head off, and it was
You
my
made out
girlfriend
with it.
Gia, which was awesome because then I got to make out with the Pikachu. Hashtag GiaChu. And it was great.
Oh, Giachu, I like that. I like that a lot.
So that was great. And then after that, we had the one more thing moment.
Yeah, Jack Trent was there to do one more thing, and it turned out that we have a studio now. That we've been sitting on this for what, a month now.
Thank God we can talk about it. Yeah, so
We've come close before.
So-
we start talking about things on the show. What's wrong, Kevin?
I almost blew it on Colin and Greg.
Oh, did
Like,
you?
Yeah, definitely.
What'd you say?
I
Or what
did.
were you about to say?
no, I heard it, thank God.
I said something about how I want to get something framed, and I was like, for me, you know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
You know, when there was a time when it was like the day before Kind of Funny Live, and you two were doing the show, and I had to call Nick for something. I don't know. We were on the phone.
Oh, yeah, we're
and
doing
I was
Colin
like,
Greg Live.
Yeah, you guys are, hey, Tim, you're on Colin Greg Live. I'm like, hey, what's up? Cool. And at some point I was just like, wait, are we meeting at the new studio? or the new office. I was like, are we meeting at the new office? And I was like,
And I was like, okay, Tim, well, I can't really hear you. I don't know what you just said. I'll see you later.
yeah.
No, I mean, so it's in perfect us fashion. Like nothing ever kind of, in life, some things happen the way you plan them. Sometimes you just have to jump on opportunities as they come. And Kevin found this amazing space for us that just happens to kind of tick off all the boxes, right? It's close for you guys. It's close for you guys. It's not much farther for me. It's enough space that we can, scale up if we need to over the next couple of years. So we decided to take it, but that's kind of been to me the straw that's breaking the camel's back.
Well, that was the thing is I felt like for a long time you and Tim were right here on Kind of Funny Live,
Right.
and then the studio thing happened and you deviated and he had to kind of take 90% of the workload.
Tim had to or bear a lot more of that than I had anticipated because I was hoping to help him out with a lot of the video creation and stuff like that too. So that was fun, sort of figuring out how we're going to pay for all that stuff, and then figuring out also like how we were going to start getting all the infrastructure we needed for that, right? Because we want to do some extra fun stuff at the studio, including sets and some better lighting and stuff. So that's been my long-term project for the last couple months, I should say, in addition to Kind of Funny Live too.
Yeah.
So I'm glad there's really for the rest of the year nothing left, nothing big.
It's
that
done.
we gotta do.
It's all done. It's all done.
Super excited that we get our June to ourselves in July. We got no place to go. Wait,
Great.
what?
Awesome.
We have other shows?
There's a few dozen to do. Yeah.
Jesus
yeah.
fuck.
So what is the timeline of moving to the studio?
I forgot to ask you that in the production meeting, but I want to try to do it by first week of July.
Oh wow. Okay. That's really aggressive.
If I can.
So
I've
September.
got almost all the equipment that I mean, potentially, yeah, but I mean, Matt's working on the designs this week for the studio.
What's so exciting about it and why I don't care is that we're building it from the ground up.
Yep.
And that was a discussion we had of we should move early. And it was like, no, I don't want to do like what we're doing here where we're like retrofitting this room while we're in it to make it what we wanted. I'm very excited that you and Kevin can finally have the studio you've always talked about and like what you want it to look and how you want it to work. And watching you build it piece by piece right now with whether it's the bringing in an electrician to actually put in plugs that we would need and where they should be, rather than this house where it's like, is the wall grounded?
We're getting
I don't know. Fuck it, let's just keep going.
Yeah, that's been really fun. It's been really fun for Kevin. Also, Kevin's been like awesome at it, just kind of managing all these. I've discovered a lot of things about Kevin. Kevin is an awesome negotiator. Like, I don't know what it is. People will be like, this thing's going to cost like $500. I'm like, great. Kevin's like, stop, Nick. Is it going to cost $500? And the guy's like, I guess I can get it done for $150.
His charisma is so high.
No, he just has that like that wheeler dealer kind of mindset when he goes into these things where I'm just like, let's get the job done. And Kevin's like, no, I got this. And he got some dude down that was doing some gate work for us. The guy was like, it's going to be $1,200. And Kevin's like, no, you got to do better than that. The guy's like, $500? And Kevin's like, I'm going to think about that. The guy's like, okay, $350. It was like ridiculous. I'm like, how do you do this? This is ridiculous. It's totally that bargaining mentality that he has is awesome. So Kevin's been great.
But that happened. Studio announcement.
Yes, and then that's a perfect
one more
segue
thing.
actually. So Kevin, in addition to working on the show or on the new office so much, and he's been killing that. Kevin also obviously helped me every step of the way with Kind of Funny Live, whether it was props, making sure we had thongs to get iron things on. Gia had to iron so many smileys on the thongs because I threw thongs out during the thong song, obviously. But like the Pikachu costume and everything, Kevin was right there making sure all this shit happened. So then he had his little moment during the show, which was proposing to one Paula Gallagher, soon to be Paula Coelho. I don't know how that works, but yeah, sounds great.
Or Kevin Gallagher.
Kevin Gallagher.
Kevin Coelho - Gallagher.
2016, ladies and gentlemen. But that was an amazing moment. Like that was the only, we knew once we were at Outback. When we went to Outback a couple weeks ago was when Kevin brought it up to us.
No, I told somebody this. No, it actually how it went was me and Kevin were in the car to Outback, and I was reading Twilight Zone comic your brother had left in there, and Kevin's like, "Oh, Kind of Funny Live is gonna be so great." Blah blah. He's like, "Man, I wish I had worked out the timing to propose to Paula there." And then literally, and I was like, "Yeah, that would have sucked." And he's like, "Yeah." Then we got there and we walked in. He's like, "I want to propose to you." I was like, "What happened? You said the timing." Like, I'll make it work. I'll make it happen.
From that moment, from Kevin being like, I think I might want to do it. And I was like, this is happening. We're ending the show that way. It's gonna be awesome. And
It's happening.
Awesome.
Kevin
it is happening.
Kevin's engagement. It is happening.
Will there be exclusive merch at the wedding?
Guarantee it.
Will Kevin fall through the cake?
I'll tell you one thing right now, Kevin.
Sweat through it.
If you wanted to, we could sell tickets to your wedding and make your money back on it. Make a little profit for ourselves.
I was gonna say, wait, where is it for us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
little cut
exactly.
Then we can live stream it, pay-per-view live stream.
A little cut for me and Lola.
The Gallagher Coelho wedding. Coelho Gallagher.
We'll have to work on it.
I'm gonna make her hyphenate her last name. So you can be in my hype club.
It was awesome.
But yeah, so that was kind of funny live, and I'm really, really, really excited about it. I can't wait to see the video. And
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to get it all edited.
We'll get it at some point. Please be patient. It will come.
Now, it's important to point out, we're going to stop there, but there was a day 2. That was all about one day of Kind of Funny Live, which we are breaking into 2 topics.
I think we can bring it into 3 at this
yeah.
point. It's like over an hour long.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you want, I was going to say.
There's a clean 2, the recap. and then
exactly. I was there.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I like
I got the
that.
idea.
You're good,
I got the
you're good,
content.
you're good.
But then day 2 is all about autographs.
And not
Podcasts,
to forget
photographs.
Smash on
Smash.
stage. which
Yeah,
was
we did.
fucking
So there was
awesome.
Dude Soup, the Funhouse Achievement Hunter podcast. Then we
Yeah.
did Rooster Teeth Cross, Kind of Funny podcast. They look great. We'll also upload those. You'll see those. And we played Smash
those were
Bros.
fun.
on the huge screen, 8-player with the fans, and that was fucking awesome.
That was awesome.
And
Thank you
Simon's
all for
stuff, that was
hanging
great.
out. Thank you all for doing that. Thank you for coming to Kind of Funny Live, for being an awesome audience, for being cool with everything that happened there. Whether it was, okay, oh, I didn't realize I was going to stand, or, oh, I didn't know there was a line to get autographs, or this, or like how fast everything had to move. You were all great. We love you very, very much. Nick,
Yes.
what's your topic?
What's scarier? A very large herd of small feral cats
Yeah.
or a kind of medium-sized mountain lion?
How many
You're out-
cats?
I'm talking this. You can't see the end of them.
Well, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, that's obviously scarier.
Cats
think
are
so?
scary. I mean, even one cat's like kind of, I don't trust him, you know?
But they're wild cats, but you don't know if they're going to attack you or not. Whereas the mountain lion, I feel like you know. You see the mountain lion, he smelled you about 6 miles out and has been stalking you ever since. So he's coming after you. You're gonna have to fight the mountain lion. Whereas the cats might just carry you home. You know what I
No,
mean?
probably
they
they
might
probably
crowd
won't
surf
do
you
that.
home like Tim does every day now.
I'm into that. That's an interesting proposition. I've never heard this before. It's usually the hamster-sized rhino or the rhino-sized hamster,
Interesting.
which I think is a bit more of a
See, I always heard,
conundrum.
for me, it was always duck-sized horses or a horse-sized duck.
Can't say I ever had this kind of particular conversation before.
I never
You
have
don't talk
either.
to people though. I would say that. I mean, like I'm saying, feral cats is what's scarier? The mountain lion.
Yeah.
Mountain lions have a taste
What
for
would you
blood.
rather encounter in the wild?
I would rather encounter the feral cats because I have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a fight because like you're saying, how big was the mountain lion again?
I'm saying it's
medium
I'll
size. What
say
does that
it's-
mean?
I'll say it's roughly 3 times the size of Portillo.
Oh,
Wait, so that's like a
not
small.
that
Because
big.
mountain lions aren't huge. I'm talking like maybe
I mean, the
this,
feral cats are
That's-
categorically
maybe this
scarier.
maybe this big.
I could probably take the fucking mountain lion if it's that
Depth of
big.
this table.
I don't know. Could you? The jaws and the PSI on them.
I mean, I'm going to be honest.
Getting fucked up by any of them.
Yeah, I'm down. No matter what, I'm down. So it's a question of, do I want a quick death, mountain lion, or do I want to
Death by 1,000 scratches.
Yeah.
See,
Or
with the
whatever
ki-
that like weird bacteria is that cat
Cat scratch fever. Cat scratch fever.
That'd be
My
terrifying.
father got that from our cat in the early 90s. Yeah.
I would really hope you're going to say
Did you
Ted
just snap
Nugent.
its neck?
Yeah.
My dad after that was like, no more cats.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I would be too.
I mean, I'm going to go with the feral cats. There's worse ways to go than drowning in pussy.
Oh Jesus Christ!
But I'm sorry, a lot of pussy versus one giant pussy. It's coming at you.
I don't want. Yeah, no, that's.
I
all
don't think
very
you could
vulgar.
wrestle down. I mean, even if 3 size, Portillo's that big. It's like a 3 size. The mountain lion still is going to be able to really
No,
fuck
I'd
you
fuck the
up. It's
mountain
big
lion.
claws.
Yeah, he's got claws and jaws.
would?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I get it.
How? What's your mountain lion comes at you? You see what's the move?
I leap over the mountain lion in a
Damn.
tumble.
Colin leaps.
So I leap over the mountain lion in a tumble.
Yeah.
And then I quickly
when you say
turn
tumble,
ar-
what, you're somersaulting?
yeah, I'm somersaulting
He's
over the
panda
mountain lion
rolling
as he jumps at me, and so
into
he
a panda
lands,
roll.
and then I quickly turn around and grab him. You know, you have to grab him from the back. You have to
You're
grab
grabbing
him
his hind legs.
Or
no,
tail.
I'm gonna jump on his back, and I'm gonna
Okay.
try to put him in a headlock.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Kimura.
yeah. That's definitely how you got to go. Scruff of the neck
Yeah.
and then up underneath the jaw. For
Now,
sure.
as a lot of grabbing cats by the scruff of the neck, even mountain lions perhaps could make it, tranquil.
it would just do the whole. Whoa.
Yeah, well,
Whoa,
I'm
didn't
sorry.
realize you're my mom.
I didn't realize
Sorry.
you were in charge around here.
Yeah.
I could do that to the feral cats, but there would be too many of them.
See, with the feral cats, I feel like, and like you're saying, you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know. I mean, well, you see alley junkyard cats. Most of the time, they just
Like
run away
Heathcliff?
from you. They leave you alone.
Sure.
Exactly like Heathcliff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of them, and they might be hungry.
Sure.
But I don't think they're going to go
I
after
don't like
something
it.
you're as big
I
as
don't.
you.
I mean, I don't like the idea of an endless. I think there needs to be a number to them personally.
200.
Jesus
200.
Christ.
Let's go 100.
Fine, 100.
I mean,
200's a lot, man.
in my head, the story's going this way. I'm bebopping, scatting down the road. I'm enjoying myself. I turn down an alley, or I turn. The door slams behind me somehow. I can't go back anymore.
Right.
And I look down, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see on the other side freedom, but yeah, then there's just 200 cats there, right? Feral, apparently.
Yeah.
And like, and you're like, maybe they're going to crowdsurf you home. I'm not taking the chance.
Right.
I back up against the wall and then just fucking full on flash run. And I'm trying to hit them. I'm trying to take out a bunch
at least.
just to let them know, like, I am not here to fuck around.
You might instigate them, though.
I know. That's the risk I'm taking, though. That's the risk I'm taking.
You could carefully walk through them. And
No. Because I'm also worried about fleas and ticks.
Or you just be like,
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a possibility. These are cats.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a possibility their fight or flight mechanism might kick in, and it's more on the flight.
I'll give you the first
stop, and they all just gone. They're gone. You know, or you hit that, and they go. They do this thing, and they just all start doing.
They do like the Halloween cat thing, where they're like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I don't want to fuck with that guy.
I want to throw a little a twist into this.
Sure.
All right, we're talking same numbers. Let's keep the 200.
Okay.
200 feral
200
cats. One medium-sized mountain lion.
Yeah, medium to small size.
We're adding all of us. It's versus all of us.
Oh,
How do
is
we
Kevin
handle
with
this?
us?
No, because Kevin would handle either situation fine.
Yeah,
we don't need that. We need us motherfuckers.
Real quick, Kevin went. What is that? Why did you just pop out somebody's legs? What'd you do there? Oh, okay. So we have all the tools at our disposal. Okay, cool. All four of us, I would say then, yeah, I want the mountain lion probably.
Really?
Yeah. Because the mountain lion, I'm sorry, I scratched you. You're going to die of Greg scratch fever. I think you're going to get really fucked up, I feel like, with the mountain lion. And then you get the bacteria in your wounds and stuff. It's going to be bad. But I feel like enough of us, Nick's distracting him, Nick's doing the Prince scream. It's just like the animated series. And then it is, like we all go over there and do the Dan Reichert elbow drop on this distracted cat, and that fucking thing's got broken ribs.
Punching it in its face.
Yeah.
Punching it in its face. That's my dream to do to a mountain lion, actually.
Are we in the tunnel like Greg was talking about? Because
good point. Oh, that's a really good point.
That changes things. Like
four of us, shoulder to shoulder, four of us.
A phalanx? That's what you want to do? You want to?
Well, no, I'm sorry. Well, you're yes, correct. But I'm saying it's the four of us, and like that's how wide the alley is. Brick walls on both sides, but we're shoulder to shoulder.
Because
one mountain lion right there.
We could just approach it in a phalanx and just dare it to come at us.
We could.
Just like
do we have shields in this phalanx?
No,
we just have ourselves.
No. So what? We just take our pants off, throw them over our arms.
I'm sure we all remember when Mr. Mixie, I'm just gonna say because I can never pronounce his name, back in the old, Tim, follow me on this one. Pre-New 52 Superman era, right? And it was when Red Kryptonite made its debut in that. Of course, this is post-crisis, so we knew of Red Kryptonite beforehand, but this is the first time it's introduced. When Superman didn't have his powers and had to ride the subway, there was a giant rat. If I'm lying, I'm dying. There was this giant rat. And what Clark Kent did was, of course, being a hero, he knew he had to stop it. So he wrapped his suit coat around his arm and was ready to get fucked up by it. But then at the last second, Guardian stepped in and stopped it. But that would also be a thing we might want to do. Are you wearing your leather coat?
Probably.
All right, so then when we see it, and then you have to be tip of the sword. You have to wrap it around. Okay. So the lion's going to do on that deal, and then we are going to have to climb over you or run around you, and then just start fucking punching.
I mean, I'm probably not going to be that guy, but like, what if we each grabbed one of his legs and tried to just
How are we getting to the back? How are we getting to the back?
We could draw and quarter him.
I'm going to tell you this. One of us, if we go up against the mountain lion, one of us isn't coming back. One of us is getting fucked up.
I feel like it's like a domino effect. If once one's done, we're done.
Because mountain
lions, once we see the inside of Tim, we're not going to want to keep fighting.
Remember, mountain lions aren't dogs. Okay, like dogs don't have. Mountain lions pounce, like they jump really fucking high into the air. So the second we get within 6 feet of these fucking things, he's gonna be on one of us.
Yeah,
he will rear back.
That's why I'm saying
he takes Colin out. Just Colin's done. Now we have a choice at this point. We could be ride or die, or we can just bolt.
We're ride. We're not die. We can't leave anyone behind.
But Colin's done at this point. This thing is eating Colin's like lower colon out. Like
no, he's not done at this point.
Well, okay, I like this idea though. We gotta make sure that it's Colin that gets eaten first, because then with the event horizon, it'll take a while.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Well, but how long? No one knows, because no one can calculate that time span when it starts getting sucked.
You have to be very careful.
Yeah, Miller's Planet and Event Horizon, the two Miller's planets down there are gonna suck this thing in.
You want to look at it like an old turn-based role-playing game. You can lose one or two party members, but you want to make sure that you're doing enough damage to justify the loss of the party member, so you don't have any Phoenix Downs, no elixirs. So if I can do just even 10 or 15% damage to this thing before I go down, then that could be an advantage to you guys. Right. And you only have to deal with 80, 85%, of the health of the mountain lion with 3 of you left. You know, and then say another person falls at 60%, and it's 60% of somewhat wounded mountain lion with 2 of you left at full health. I mean,
I'm saying, but I mean, like, that's the same thing. That's why we use the leather coat. It bites on the leather coat. That person's going down. Yes, you're going to get scratched up in the face. But while this is happening, that's when we all run in and we are grabbing legs and stuff and pulling. I'm fucking pinching and we're just dropping elbows. We're doing whatever we got to do.
To the point.
Does it have balls? I'm fucking punching it right there.
To the point, I mean, we could all grab a limb and draw and quarter it manually.
But we aren't
Very medieval.
We aren't going to have 4 people at that point.
But someone could still take the back legs, and the other person could take the front.
Okay.
The other two could take the front
Okay.
paws.
Do mountain lions have
See,
tails?
Yeah.
Or is that
Yes.
just- we
They have
can Mario
tails.
64 'em.
We could.
Grab them.
Oh, well, there's not enough room in this thing.
See, I think
Oh,
I
look
think
for
we'd
the
be
bombs.
better off. I think we'd be better. I think the mountain lion's taking at least 2 of us out.
No
And
way.
the other 2 are barely escaping. With
There's
their
no
lives.
way it takes 2 of us out. One
think
of us,
it's
yes,
us
but
all.
it's got to be that thing of like the problem is we would have already had to have this conversation.
Yeah, we are having it now.
Alley door, I know, alley door slams. We see it. Tim, give me your coat. Wrap it around, and then it's like, do not fucking forget to attack. It's gonna be bad. And then it's on me, and I'm down. And then you guys have to swoop in right away. You do it that way.
Okay.
Then Colin is right on his back, and he's choking it, and you're fucking doing your Tai Chi stuff to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Shadow
I'm just
boxing.
slowly doing a kata by it to hopefully like harmonize its energy with mine, so we can both just relax and have
Fix
a
its
conversation.
chi.
Yeah, exactly.
Mountain
No.
lions are one of the smartest animals. Like there's humans, dolphins, mountain lions.
You're making that
They
up.
know straight to go for the throat though, so we got to be careful. We got to go.
Well, that's just the law of
Yeah,
the jungle,
totally
yeah.
like
But that's
that.
why you have the coat. The coat. Again,
throat guards.
you don't think you're telling me this subway rat Superman fought powerless because of the red kryptonite?
Yeah.
You're telling me that thing wasn't going for the throat?
But can we back up with this rat situation?
Sure.
So when you say giant rat, like how big?
It
are
was
you
like
talking?
some kind of mutant. I forget what
Okay,
his
so it
fucking
wasn't
deal
just a
was.
big
It
rat.
wasn't just a big rat.
Like Superman had to get involved with this subway rat.
Clark Kent. Yes,
But then
what
the
is he gonna-
Guardian had to
he was
come
gonna
save
let
the
innocent
day?
people get hurt.
Who the
Yeah.
hell's the Guardian?
Some really shitty DC guy. He's in Young Justice. You'll see him if you stick
that's
around.
great.
I'm gonna throw the last.
Wait, was he?
scenario
What am
out
I
for
thinking
you.
of? Am I thinking about Teen Titans? What am I thinking about? Anyways, doesn't matter.
I'm gonna
No,
throw-
I am. It's Young Justice.
You are. We get there. Door slams. Mountain lion's there, and it's looking mad. Okay, and we're like, this thing's about to pounce. We can't get by it. We got to take it out. We all got to wrap our coats around our arms. Or you get there, and you can't see the cats because there's so many cats. They're actually lining the wall, ceiling, and floor like Alien, right? And someone makes the observation that maybe the ceiling's moving. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe they don't do anything. This is what I'm saying with the cats.
Yeah.
Is that they're cats. Maybe you just go, ha, and they all just go out, bolt out the door.
Yeah, the cats are unpredictable. You,
Now-
you never know
But
what
the
they're
mountain
up
lion's
to.
got a little downlight on him, and he's been pissed that he's fucking hungry. He hasn't eaten in 2 weeks, and someone just kicked him, so he's extra mad. And he's taking one of us down, and he locks eyes with Tim.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, that kid
It's getting
looks
done.
like he does not like to do push-ups. I'm
don't.
going straight for him, and these
Yeah.
other 3 I'll catch up to. And that's the other thing about the mountain lion. They run and they stalk.
Yeah.
So even if we run away, he might catch up to us
Yeah.
and take 1 or 2 of us out before
Sure.
we're actually able to get indoors.
He'll, for the next 15 years,
He
being
just
around
keeps
every
coming at
corner.
us. They live to be
It's
at
like
least
it
30.
follows too.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just a mountain lion, though. It's not a ghost.
That's awesome. All right, so you guys, mountain lion, we try to fight it as a team. That's fun.
Yeah, if it's a team thing, mountain lion.
If Kevin's there,
if it's
Kevin
just
takes care of
if
it.
it's just cats. If Kevin's there, yeah, he pulls
wait a
out
minute.
he pulls out the leather man, and we immediately take it, jab him in the neck, and run.
Well,
Just
Kevin,
throw him
what
at
would
the mountain lion and go.
Kevin, your microphone works?
He's gonna have to rewire it, but hold on, here it goes. He just muted everybody else because all the numbers went away.
Yep.
What would be your techniques and what would be your prerogative here?
For the mountain lion or the
For,
cats?
what would you choose and how would you handle the situation?
I mean, the cats. What are a bunch of cats gonna do?
I'm with Kevin.
They're all worked up. They start fighting each other.
They're
first.
blowing their anal sacs on you. You're just running by them.
Like, what does that smell?
Trip Tim if we have the mountain lion. Just trip Tim.
That's
Let
true.
God sort them out.
Yeah.
I get
Jesus. Okay, wow.
I feel like the cats, we could have a pretty cool Avengers moment though.
Of us all spinning around.
One by one, the camera goes to each of us, and we just like tossing cats and shit.
Yeah. I'm just running back and forth over and
Yeah.
over, winded.
Now, here's something we're not thinking about the cats.
My Converse.
So if we got
soaked in blood.
200 cats, that's actually 200 times 9.
Here we go.
Mm,
I also
Me too,
appreciate that
you're
you just
right.
stopped. You're like,
1800. There you go.
Yeah.
Because they have so many lives, right?
Yeah.
honestly, pretty basic multiplication
I
on that
know.
one, but
But yeah, whatever. I was, didn't want to think
It's been
about
a long
it.
week.
It has.
That's true. But again, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say at least 50% of the cats are bolting. The ones in the back are definitely bolting. It's the ones that are closest to us, maybe the 2 like 10 deep in, that are going to probably try to fight us. And now there's 5 of us in this scenario. So to Kevin's credit, like, and to Kevin's point, what could they do to us other than scratch and bite? So unless 30 of them got on you, which is possible, and kept biting you, are they going to do enough damage to stop your forward momentum? That's the question. Versus a mountain lion that could slash at your neck and kill you with one.
But
with one
again,
strike.
they're gonna chase you for the next 15 years.
I don't think that was part of the original stipulation.
It is now.
All right,
you got to take them out.
Then I got to go mountain lion because at that point I can just kill the one thing.
See,
Versus
but
the
here's
cats that have litters and then the litters keep coming after me.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about
I
that.
just fucking seize it everywhere I go to get a cup of coffee.
If we
like,
had to kill him,
everywhere.
we're all out there doing our superhero shit. What I would do is take Tim's coat and somebody else's coat.
Yeah.
And wrap them around my shins.
Yeah.
And then rather than just run over them, I would just be rocket kicking them right down the line, just fucking going.
Are you concerned at all that at one point you wouldn't have tied the coats hard enough and they would fall onto your feet and then you would trip and
That
fall,
is a
and then it would just be
concern.
the shot, top down shot of all the cats just consuming you,
Right.
and they run over you, and then it's just your skeleton with the love and sex stuff shirt still on it.
There's like that final shot of me like, yeah, and like one comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, there's a cat underneath your skin like the mummy. It's just like crawling out. It's like, what's in me?
Mommy was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I don't
They're bringing
want
it back.
I know. I don't want them to remake it. I don't want them to remake
Yeah, I
it.
think the Rock's in it. No, who's in the new mummy?
Rock was already in the other one.
She wasn't.
I don't know. It is a bunch of people. I forget. I do want to point out just a little bit of who we are on this one. That we had Kevin turn on his mic to chime in on if he'd fight a cat or mountain lion, or the 200 cats or mountain lion. Not about getting engaged or how he felt about that or how that came together.
We know how he felt about that one.
This topic was brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 4 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Make sure to head over to lootcrate.com/Greggy and enter the code Greggy to save $3 on a new subscription. Loot Crate is more than just a subscription service. It's an entire community of fans that share their experience and interact with each other around the unboxing of that month's crate. June's theme will be exploring some of the ways things can go wrong with Dystopia.
No.
Featuring classics like RoboCop,
Love it.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day,
Love it.
The Matrix,
Love it.
and new faves like BioShock and Fallout 4. We've got a figure, cool collectibles, and of course, our dystoporific monthly tea. Remember, you only have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate, and when the cutoff happens, Jackie T, that's it. It's over. So go to lootcrate.com/Greggy and enter the code Greggy to save $3 on your new subscription today.
Seems a
Mr. Moriarty, what do you got?
Seems a little redundant, doesn't it?
Which part? The Greggy?
You got to go to Greg/Greggy, then you got to put in the code Greggy. Can they at least give us a different code and a different URL so it seems a little fresher?
I think they just want it to be, like
Easy to remember.
easy to remember.
Also,
yeah.
dystoporific.
I didn't write it.
How offensive. Now here's my topic. I was at the beach last week.
Man, hang 10.
Hang 10, bro. With Lola, and we were playing, and people were on the beach, and we were having a good time. And I'm wearing the Northeastern jacket I bought when we were in Boston. And a gentleman walks up to me and very nicely was like, hello, is that a Northeastern jacket? And I'm like, yes, it's a Northeastern jacket because it actually says Northeastern on it. So yes, it's a Northeastern jacket.
Damn, you were rude to this
No, I
guy.
wasn't. I was like, yeah, and he's like, oh, my daughter just graduated from there. I'm like, oh, I'm class of 07, and we were chatting or whatever. And I was like, oh, that was a nice little encounter. Mm-hmm. And then I was walking down the beach and had this like really almost dumb revelation about society and started just looking around and noticing a natural order to things. And I was curious what you guys think of these things and these things that you might take for granted, right? So just on the beach alone, I was like, okay, these guys are in their wetsuits surfing or like, whatever, and their shit's just on the beach.
Yeah.
I could just go steal their stuff, but I don't, right? There's pets playing on the beach and I could just go steal a pet or kill it or just do whatever, like just crazy you can do whatever you want, but we're all just going about our business and there's a great order to everything that's happening, right? Then I'm walking home and kind of observing it. The mailman's delivering the mail, right? One of those DWS trucks is like coming and picking up garbage. And then I'm like walking and I'm like, there's a really interesting natural order to society. And I take everything for granted that nothing is chaotic. Now, of course, we have exceptions. There are shootings and there's violent crime and there's theft and burglary and all of these kinds of things and a lot of dishonesty and stuff in the society. But it brought up just a brief discussion I wanted to have with you guys about like, what are these things? Do you take this stuff for granted too? Because I never really we've thought about the social contract. We've in a very scholarly way. We thought about the function of taxes and like what they pay for and stuff like that. But I was just kind of walking around being like, it's kind of interesting that we all just kind of do our own thing. Generally, 99% of the society you would assume is never really going to have a bad experience with each other in a way that's going to be violent or cause death or destruction or something like that. Have you guys ever stopped and thought about that? Because it was really weird that I never really stopped and had this moment until I had this conversation with this guy on the beach. We just walked our separate ways, never saw each other again. It was a very nice conversation. Seeing people going about their business, trusting others are going to be fine with their belongings or their pets or whatever's going on around them. And I just kind of thought it was an interesting kind of observation. Mm-hmm. Maybe an obvious observation, an incredibly obvious observation, but one maybe so obvious that I never really stopped to think about it.
I think that's what it is. It's you just don't think about it. You don't think about how you breathe. You just breathe.
Right.
You know, but I had that moment where I really, exactly like you just did, where it's like every little thing I started noticing when I first learned to drive. I was driving and I sneezed. And I was scared to drive because I was learning, didn't know what I was doing. And I sneezed and like my eyes closed because that's what happens when you sneeze. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, like I could have killed somebody right now because my eyes were closed sneezing, but I had to do that. And then I remember being like, man, there's a red light that I'm stopped at now. Why am I doing this? Just because someone told me to? This guy's stopping too. I'm trusting that this guy's stopping. I'm trusting that that guy's stopping. Why are we trusting that anybody's like following these rules or these laws? And like, yeah, we have driver's licenses, but like,
how hard were those to get?
Yeah, like my brother got one, and I don't think he deserved one when he got one. Right. Now he probably does, but it's like all this stuff where I'm like, man, I know all these people like cheating on their driving tests and stuff, and I'm like, that's probably not a good thing. But we all trust, and then eventually you learn, and you're all just like, yeah, this is how we do it. And if we're at a stop sign and we stop, and there's that awkward moment of who really stopped first, yeah, you might get a little mad, but whoever does the thing last, you're the loser. That's how it goes.
Now, see, on that note, I appreciate the wave. I don't like the go ahead. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the difference?
Oh,
you know
I will go. It's my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not the person that got here first because I was paying attention and you were checking text? Hate that. Sorry. Continue.
No, I mean that's you're nailing it though.
See, I mean that's my thing is like that's all fine and dandy. We all choose on a daily basis to act like civilized human beings, but that's only skin deep. That's only really on the surface. There is a boiling pot of anger. I think that's just waiting to get out at any given moment, and you see it. Maybe it's just me, but you see it when you come to those instances where those societal norms start to break down. Airplanes are a perfect example, right?
Yep.
When people are forced to be together in a small enclosed area, and our control is taken away from us, and then we start. It breaks down.
Fuck
fast.
everybody else. It's me.
Right. Exactly.
I gotta get my bag on this plane, so I will push this old lady out of the way to get on that plane faster. And then you get mad at the people who are getting up and like don't know how to get off a plane. It's like, well, no, you're 3 rows back. Why the fuck are you trying to get past my row?
That is why my favorite person to sit next to. Like I love sitting next to Colin. In an ideal situation, I got an aisle seat and he has an aisle seat, so we can still chat like little girls, like we do sometimes when we share a room. And then when the plane starts to deplane, like when we've hit the gate and it starts to deplane, and that one person starts. I swear to God, almost one time I saw you almost put an arm out and stop the guy and be like, but Colin will do the thing where he's like, oh, I'm sorry. No, we'll wait for you because your life is more important than us. All of us know how to get out in an orderly fashion, but you, sir, are clearly more. I didn't know you were the king. Didn't even know the king was back there riding. We got to let him out first. Oh my God, it was the funniest fucking thing. I'm like, Colin, forever be you. Don't ever not be you.
Forever be you.
Don't ever not be you. But yeah, I mean, it is a little weird, right? It is a little weird that, like, another perfect example is I was standing in the Starbucks as I do most of my life.
But not that one Starbucks.
No, it was the Presidio Starbucks because I refused to go back to that one except for yesterday when I went back there. I was with my parents. They wanted to go. I was like, whatever, fine.
You come in with like a fake mustache on
No,
top of
I
your
saw
real
the
mustache.
guy. I was just like, whatever, we over this. At this point, I gave him the look, and I don't think he recognized
It
me.
would have been awesome. He's like, oh, the king's back,
Right,
everybody.
exactly, right.
Too good to wait in line or use our online ordering.
Look at you. No, I was just, I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday. I just went for a walk to the Presidio, and there's a nice Starbucks there near ILM. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I looked in, there was a line. I'm like, whatever. I'm in a chill mood right now. I got no place to go. So I sat in this line for, 5 minutes as it like kind of curled around. And I got almost to the front, but we were leaving as a group. I guess we had just decided, like whoever decided it first was like, I'm going to leave a huge space between where the line stops and the counter because that's where the door is. So people come in and out that way. And everyone has the same look where they walk in, look and see the line and go, oh, I'm not going to stand here. I'm going to curl around, except for this one person, this one older woman who was on her phone talking, couldn't give a shit about anything else, was very like whatever, and stood right in front. It just came in and was like, looked at me and then stood right in front of me. And I was like, I'm about to get irate at this person until I looked behind me and saw the other people getting mad too. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever.
Mob justice.
I'm like, I got nothing better to do.
You let her cut?
I let her cut.
Oh, man.
I was like, I don't think she was doing it on purpose, right? I had that moment where I'm trying to practice a little bit more mindfulness where I'm like, this is a mistake.
You
This is
can't-
an accident. This is not something done intentionally.
You
Not
can't make
like
a
the
scene in
asshole was
every-
like, go ahead, I'm letting you go at the stop sign. That guy, I want to beat his brains out. But this person was just oblivious and wasn't paying attention. And so I looked behind her, and the guy behind me was getting pissed. And I was like, I gave him like a, what are you gonna do? And he was like, all right, fine.
That's so on Nick.
I know.
Now-
I was at first I
almost
was like,
disappointed in you.
I was pissed, but then
To
I
be
was
honest.
like, what am I gonna do?
Now,
Tap her on the
She's
shoulder.
like a 105-pound woman, and I'm gonna yell at her for.
That means you
know,
can throw her even further.
just kick her right in the choach. Just punch her into the pastry
throw her
cabinet.
into space.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, does she have a tail? Just throw her out like the Mario.
Hey, you ever seen 200 cats attack you?
No, I think it goes back to the thing I've talked about often where like when someone doesn't, when I hold the door open for someone or hand someone something, they don't say thank you, I'm always like, you're welcome,
Yeah.
really loud. Now, once in a while,
There's one guy that fucking gave you shit for it.
yeah, New York.
Where is that?
Yeah,
Where you
New
were?
York. I was like, yeah, I accept it. I'm home. I guess I can't be like this here.
What did he say to you? You were like, you're welcome. He's like, oh, what? What, I owe you something?
Yeah. We were on the,
thank you for this great service.
I was on the subway going to Barclays Center, I think, and I was going to Ramon, so it was like in Park Slope or something, and I was at Atlantic Terminal or something, and I like went like this. So like a guy can go in front of me, and he just walked past me like, you're welcome. He's like, oh, what? Like I owe you something? And I was like, oh, like, I accept
You're
that.
like,
I'm
yeah,
home.
I accept that.
I'm not. I can throw myself around like an asshole here because no one says anything to me, but I can't do this back home.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I did it. So I was like, yeah, you don't play with math here because I'll just have this fucking experience 17 more times.
Every time.
Because I do the same shit to people. I'm like, I wonder where I got it.
Yeah.
But it's not designed to be an educational experience. It's designed to make me feel better about, like, it's almost like, fuck you. You just, like, there are people that, like, you hold the door for people and there are people that just walk right through the door and they acknowledge it.
Yeah, it does. It happens
But
a lot.
once in a while, when I say it, a person's like, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. And I'm like, that was an educational experience for you, sir, wasn't it? Or madam. But mostly it's usually just a way for me to be vindictive because I'm mad that they didn't say thank you.
Well, I mean, but it's not though, right? Because to that point, like especially in this city, I've noticed this in the last like 2 or 3 years, is that life seems to be speeding up exponentially as technology speeds up, and as more and more, especially in San Francisco, more and more people move to this city. There are more people living in this city, I would wager, than ever before.
Oh yeah, way more.
We're building way more. There's way more wealth, and with all of this, the speed and this rapid pace of life and this money comes people and technology rather. It becomes people just existing in their own space. This like 1 foot radius that is theirs, and everyone else around them they are oblivious to, and they don't fucking care. And until you occasionally like ask someone, like wake them up or like touch them or make contact or like verbally say, yo, you got to pay attention to what's going on. Most people, especially in my neighborhood, couldn't care about you. You could be dead on the sidewalk and they'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna walk over that guy and keep checking whatever I'm checking on my giant phone. And it's like, the more we allow this to happen, the less and less I honestly believe we're in touch with each other, and that's sad.
It is sad, but it goes back to I also think it's just there's differences geographically as well. Like, I think things are just more laid back here, which I think has its pros and its cons.
Sure.
And people often talk about going to Manhattan, tourists, and be like, the New Yorkers are really rude to me,
Mm-hmm.
But then observe the behavior of a fucking tourist in New York. They're just standing in the middle of the fucking on Fifth Avenue, standing in the middle of the sidewalk taking pictures, and they're wondering why people are yelling at them when they're trying to get by.
Oh, yeah.
But you see that shit here, people just standing in the middle of the sidewalk, everyone's just like walking around them, like, get the fuck out of the way.
Oh,
like,
no,
have some sort of like a coherence of what's going on around you.
He's not kidding though. I was down in the financial district the other day.
It's insane.
I was like down there running an errand for Kind of Funny Live, and I'm on like Montgomery, and I went, and as I walked in, I mean, there was a rush of people like crossing the street because they have certain intersections where all lights go red at the same time and everyone has to cross just for crowd control. And I felt like a tourist. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And people were like knocking me around, not giving a shit, and just kept going on their way.
Some guys, are you trying to make it in the big city, little boy?
I was like, cry.
Yeah, it's just like self-awareness can go a long way. Now, we all have our moments of not being self-aware.
Sure.
The thing is that like when someone calls me out on that, when I'm in the way and I realize I'm in the way, or when I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll throw out an apology or whatever if I'm like standing in someone's way and they have to walk around. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like. But there are people that are just like literally like just standing there with their entire family, with their dog and their carriage, and they're like, and I'm like, dude, you are in the middle of the sidewalk on Market Street. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
But everyone here, to their credit, I guess, just walks around them and doesn't say anything. If you did that shit in New York or Boston, people would be like, what are you like? Are you serious? And then those people would never want to come back to those cities again. And then they have these stories about how everyone's mean in New York and Boston, but it's really your fault for being oblivious.
Right.
Like, so I think that that's part of the social contract as well, is to just like be like, someone holds a door for you, thank them. If you're in the way on the sidewalk, if you have to stop on the sidewalk, just move over. is it really that hard? I hate stupid people and I hate oblivious people.
Yeah.
They're the worst, and they are usually one and the same. So that's like, if you made a mistake, that's different. But people that just like gung ho just walk through a door someone else hold, I would never do that. Someone would never hand me something at a restaurant. I would just ignore them.
That's the
like
city,
someone
though.
like I just these are basic social norms. Your parent, if you have parents that taught you anything, it's like it's just not that hard. That's the shit that really annoys me.
I blame technology because every single time, well, there's two instances.
There's always been assholes though.
But every single time I'm stuck behind someone on a street, or every time I'm inconvenienced by someone on the street, it's either for one or two reasons. One, they have a huge space age Voltron style baby carriage that's in front of them that like they could ride the back of, that's self-propelled. All these women in my neighborhood have these. You've seen them probably at this point. Yeah. And a lot of them have,
your neighborhood's interesting.
A lot of them, because they have multiple kids, have the double-decker ones that like literally take up the entire sidewalk. And so you'll stop and be like, oh shit, there's traffic today on the sidewalk. Either that or people literally are just wired into the matrix, man. They're just staring at their phone, walking. And I fear for people because I see them walking across Lombard Street texting. And I'm like, yo, this is a main thoroughfare. Like, you're going to get hit by a car and they just don't care. And I'm like, well, I guess that's Darwinism, right? That's survival of the fittest right there. Because if you're not smart enough to pay attention to these idiot drivers who are coming as tourists into the city, who've never existed in the city before, and are cutting over. Like, my wife the other day almost got hit by a car because the car ran over the curbs turning on its timer. It turned too sharply, and I like kind of pulled her back in the car. Arr! And I'm like, dude, even the drivers aren't paying attention anymore because they're probably talking to someone or texting, or it doesn't matter.
They do in Batman and it's cool. They do it in front of you and you're just not impressed.
That's so cool. Well, everything's cool in Batman.
But for all of the complaints we have, I mean, I sound as curmudgeonly as I usually do. The beauty of it is, like, the beauty of what I noticed that day was just the natural order of society. I don't think it's American society. I think it's probably just society generally, where there is kind of a respect of just like generally. I'm not saying everything. I mean, obviously we have a high crime rate in the United States and stuff. I'm not saying we don't, but although crime is way down compared to where it was, even a few years ago. But we respect generally like people's space. You respect people's property. Like the fact that you can, like, in suburbia, like you have a house in the middle of Montana, right? You have 12 acres. You go on vacation for 2 weeks. Anyone can do whatever the fuck they want on that property. Mm-hmm. They could do whatever they want. They can go in your house. They can steal everything you have. They can burn it to the ground. Yeah. And and you go back in your house, it's just locked in exactly the way you left it. And it's kind of remarkable when you think about it. Like, it's kind of like, oh, like we have like some rules here that we are not, it's not like the rules of the jungle or the rules of like lower life forms would be like, they have shit. We're going to take it.
Right. Because we can't.
And it's like,
that still happens.
To a
certain degree.
Sure, but it's to the point of there's more good people than bad.
Yeah, way more good people. Yeah. That's the thing that so even the people that I give a little grief to that don't hold, they're probably just not bad people. They're just rude. And their
mother probably died that morning.
Yeah, you always
somebody broke up with them. You don't know what's happening.
That's a good point too. Is you always. And everyone's been in that position, and I certainly have a few times where everyone, like, I go at someone, whether it was at work at IGN or something like that, and they're like, well, this just happened to me. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So you try to appreciate it as well. But I just noticed this natural order that I was like, huh. And it has nothing to do with like any governmental functions necessarily, although it could. It's just like with like, picking up the trash or mowing the lawns or whatever, which is totally fine. I think that's a totally appropriate function of a city government. But it's just more like these children are playing safely on their swing set and their parents are watching them. No one's bothering them at all. This guy's just sitting here reading a book. No one's bothering him at all. These people are swimming, leaving their wallet and their shoe on the beach. No one's going up. Everyone knows they can probably go steal that guy's shit, but they aren't. And this guy,
you put it down the toe of your shoe. Nobody knows.
No one knows. No one has any idea. And this guy stops me because he sees my Northeastern thing is feels safe enough and I mean, it's not safe or bold or whatever, but it's like, just wants to talk to me because I have them. We have a nice conversation and shake hands and walk away and never talk to each other again. And I'm like, huh, it's just an interesting kind of thing. I never really had thought about like the harmony of the things that go on around us. And it goes, to the stop signs and the street lights, and you go into a store and you pay for what you take. Like, you could easily walk in the Safeway and just walk out. And I don't think anyone would ever notice. You know what I mean? Like, you straight up could, like, who's going to stop you? The person that's making $10 an hour ringing up the groceries?
Depends on the size of the fruit.
My brother the other day, I think it was Friday night before Kind of Funny Live, and him and his crew were in town. They're a great bunch of people, but they've worked together for so long, and they've noticed that for so long that they can get rowdy a little bit. And
your brother getting rowdy?
Right?
No.
We go to that Walgreens on Chestnut, and my brother's like, "Yo, can I take this cart?" And the guy's like, "Sir, I don't think you can take that," because he bought a bunch of stuff and he had to carry it to his hotel, which is only a couple blocks away. And he goes, "No, you can't take that, sir." And brother's like, "Well, I'll bring it right back. Like, I'm not taking it. I don't want to borrow it and bring it back." the guy's like, no, you don't understand. You literally can't take it. It's got a thing on it that if it goes past the door, will start like, it's an alarm, right? And my brother's like, oh, I get you. I hear what you're saying. So we found another one of the cars that didn't have that one. And my brother would just load it up and he's like, yo, can I take this one? And the guy's like, sir, I don't think. He's like, cool. And he just bounced with it. And I was like, Matt, this is my neighbor. He's like, I'm going to bring it back. And he brought it back. So I guess I don't know if that's to your point. Or to your point.
There's a certain
but trust. Bring it back.
It happened today when we were. I noticed I brought my mom and her husband to the diner I like to eat at. I usually eat by myself, but I brought them, and when I eat there, and I brought them. We were sitting, and this woman next to us had never been there before. She's a noob to this place, doesn't realize it's cash only. So she tries to pay them with a credit card, and she's like, I don't have any cash. And she's like, and the woman's like, just go get cash and come back. And she's like, all right, do you want me to like leave collateral? Like I'll leave my bag here, so on my cell phone. She's like, no, just go.
Yeah.
And never saw her again.
Lo and behold, the woman came back 5 minutes later with the money. She could have just left it. She had never been there before. No one had ever seen her. These are the kinds of things I was talking about. You walk into a grocery store and I could just take a pack of cookies off the thing and just walk out.
Yeah, you could.
I could. Every time. I probably could get away with it over and over again.
Oh no, that's
it's like but you just don't do it. It's not the right thing to do. You because we're in a society of laws. That's Seinfeld.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I just kind of started to think about like there's these things we just take for granted. Now, and that's what and technically crime, I guess, is when those things that are taken for granted aren't followed anymore. When you do infringe on a right of another person, or whatever. So it's just a very basic kind of thing that I thought about that would be an interesting thing to talk about. And so I wanted to bring that up today for you today.
And today, that topic from today was sponsored by Harry's. A Harry's shaving set will make the perfect Father's Day gift. It looks cool, it feels special, and it's something that Dad will actually use. Dads can be impossible to shop for, Nick.
Oh God, they are.
You don't want to get another tie or a pair of socks he's never going to wear, but you also don't want to get something really. You also don't want to get something really practical that doesn't feel special enough to be a gift.
Right.
Thankfully,
like socks.
No, we already covered that. There was
an
never
ashtray.
wear.
How about a tie?
No, ties we've covered too. Ashtray, that's fine.
I can get my dad ashtrays for Father's Day.
You just call it an ashtray?
Yeah, ashtray.
You got your dad an ashtray. I give you one. Good one.
Shaped like a twerk dancer.
You put it out right in the brown eye. Thankfully, Harry's has got you covered. While supplies last, Harry's is offering a special limited edition shave set for Father's Day. Get one for Dad and get one for yourself too. The limited edition Father's Day shave set includes a matte black razor handle, a chrome razor stand, Harry's moisturizing foaming shave gel, 3 of Harry's handcrafted blade cartridges, and a travel cover, all for $40.
Ooh, there.
Oh,
the foaming.
Oh, the foams.
It's foams.
It's gonna go over big in the north of the country.
Canadian community.
I was trying to think if it was Minnesota or Wisconsin.
That might have been Minnesota, actually.
Okay.
I thought you were going to do like Toronto.
Plus, it comes in a sleek, giftable box with the option to add custom engraving and a personalized card. Harry's also offers shaving sets at different price points, starting at $15. Get one for yourself. Go to harrys.com right now and redeem a special offer code for fans of the show. Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase with the promo code KINDAFUNNY. Don't wait. Economy shipping for Father's Day ends on Thursday, June 9th, so act now. That's Harry's, HARRYS.com. Enter the code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to get $5 off. Get Dad something he'll actually use for Father's Day. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, another good Father's Day gift, if your dad's a dork. And you can support us there and get exclusive episodes, good goodies, the shows early, all that stuff. Ooh, I'm your dad.
I do science projects.
You still playing with your Vita? Let's go over and play some Freedom Wars together. Where's your Panopticon? If you got no bucks to toss, go to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we put the show up topic by topic, day by day, until the entire thing posts on Big Deal Friday as one big MP3
Don't even think about saying that.
Kevin! We need to take more breaks.
I'm going to change the passwords on all the socials so you
It's
can't see
under
it.
my name. If you didn't know,
I know the password to that account too.
it's been our pleasure to serve you.